VCR Podcast with your host, Vish.
They're just bastardizing our childhood and the classics.
Chris.
Nintendogs drove me. It's what makes me want to hurt people.
Radical.
People in general still bitch about everything. It still doesn't change.
Let the podcast begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the VCR Podcast, the only podcast that predates itself from the moment the title is spoken. Adam, aka askcsradical, here with you guys. We got Vish and Chris here with me, and it is another podcast where
Hey, everyone.
I think there may not have been nearly as much this time. There's still quite a bit, but it's not
You
like
didn't see the PS6 reveal?
no. That's next week. That's next week. We're getting there.
Yes.
Patience.
Almost.
Patience.
Yeah.
Patience, my young Padawan.
There has been a lot of things announced and shown. It's just not a lot of memorable stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it, too. We get to make fun of a couple of things now, so.
Oh, and then there's been some ridiculously funny stuff.
Yes.
100%. There's a lot of indie games, of course, that I want to try, but it's just there was so many that it was hard to really have a list of ones I want. It was almost like overwhelming.
I finally
And it was
gave
also-
up. Oh, sorry.
It was also like you kind of like, because they're indie games, they're always a hit or miss. It's like, is this going to be good or is this going to be garbage?
I mean, I went through enough of the Steam Game Festival demos that I'm like, okay, I can't do this daily anymore. There's just way too much. So now I've decided that I'm going to start recording the ones that I have left and just kind of putting them as an extra day on Fridays now, because normally they do Tuesday. And I already have like all the way set to almost August of demos. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll periodically throw a couple more in there. I got all the ones that I really wanted to do done, so at least there's that. But I can't imagine going through that entire... I've seen people like on Twitch saying, I'm going to go through every demo in the catalog. And be like, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah, there's not... It's too many.
Not to mention, there's so much bad shit.
Yeah, I saw an article today that said, Steam, you gave us 900 games and only for a week. You are a super villain.
There was... I'm glad that I was very selective, because there was one that I picked up and I refused to record anymore because I tried once. It's called Kaiju Fishing. And you think that would sound pretty cool, like some ridiculous game where you're like trying to catch Godzillas. And I spent 10 minutes in there, and every time I cast a line, it's like, there's nothing here. I'm like, then what the fuck am I doing?
Well, you only have to catch Godzilla once.
The only kaiju I see is behind a mountain range, and I can't get to the mountain range. So I'm like, I'm basically in Crappy Boat Simulator 2020. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it seems like, that doesn't sound very fun.
But obviously with...
You're playing 70-year-old man riding his boat trying to catch fish simulator.
Yeah, that was probably about right. Just a few goddammits not in there. But normally when we do this show, we have an intro. Now, because last week was just stupidly busy. Like, there was way too much stuff.
Last week was intense.
I'm amazed we kept that under 2.5 hours, to be completely honest.
Me too.
But normally when we do the show, we talk about what we've been doing lately. So I'm going to start, because I'm going to be a little bit on the shorter side, because I haven't played any major games, like, long length. I've basically been running through the demos, like I just said earlier. And I more or less have been watching stuff. So I want to talk about 2 demos that I've gone through. They are both released on the channel. If you were looking at CS Radical on YouTube, if this is the VOD, you can just quickly go to my channel and see them there. The first one is Windjammers 2. I think I mentioned this game before on the show. It's basically like frisbee golf, like frisbee disc throwing meets like soccer, like competitively. Just one-on-one. And it's it looks old school. Like, it looked like it could have been on an SNES. I think it started on the Neo Geo, like, way back in the day. And they brought it back. And this is its first official, like, new game in the series after being revived. And I played it, and I fucking loved it. Had way too much fun into it, even though I was getting my shit pushed in over and over again. Because it's not an easy thing to get used to. It's really difficult. Because it seems so simple, because all you gotta do is you throw the thing, and then you do a thing. And then you might catch the thing, but oh wait, then they do a special move, and then you might really not catch the thing. And then there's also like the mechanic of you might not catch it properly, so it gets popped up in the air, then you really gotta quickly get it back. It's so minor, like everything seems so simple the first couple of times you play it against the AI to test it out. And then you realize how difficult this actually is once you play real people that know what the fuck they're doing and why it's actually an esport.
Sounds fun.
It was super fun. Like I played 3 rounds against the AI. I think I only won 2 of them, which is sad. And then I played online and I got my shit pushed in the first time and managed to win at least 1 game, and I couldn't believe that. I think I got super lucky. But
it's like when Chris was playing that card game where he just would not quit until he finally won a game.
No, I was eventually going to stop if I had to. It was at that point that I'm like, you know what? If I gotta stop,
you actually will stop.
Well, it's mostly because I don't need a video to go for 2 hours if I'm just that bad at the game. It might not quite be the right idea, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah,
at that point, you're just hating yourself and making yourself angry.
It was definitely a super fun game. Like I would definitely pick that up at some point, probably on Steam. I don't know how crossplay might work with other games. That's something I'm not 100% aware of at this point, but it's definitely a game that I could pop into, play like this is online, by the way, because I wouldn't want to play with AI because the AI would probably just be really consistent. And I don't think there's that many expansive modes. I don't think there's like a season mode because it's literally just the game and that's it. So
this seems like something that's really designed for co-op and playing with people.
Well, I mean, it's one-on-one, so you're basically just playing against a friend. That's about it. Yeah. So I could honestly pop into that the way that I could pop into a game of Call of Duty, play a few rounds, and then be done. Like, just pop in, like, play, like, 15 to 30 minutes and be good. So that was definitely a game that got my attention. I would definitely look out for that, especially anybody who's just looking for some simple sports game, way up everybody's alley. The other one that I got really interested in, and Chris, you want to take a look at this one, it's called A Space for the Unbound.
Okay.
And
did you mention this one in the Discord in like our personal chat?
Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Because, you know, everything, with so much shit flies around our Discord, which, by the way, you should join.
Absolutely. Perfect segue there.
In the video on demand version of this on YouTube, the link is in the description, so do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a game that English, that has come out of Indonesia of all places, and kind of, it's like if Chrono Trigger had like a point-and-click adventure in the way the graphic style is. And the little bit of the demo that I played was it had a little bit of like magic and mysticism to it, and then also was grounded in some real-life troublesome stuff, being in what looks to be like a run-of-the-mill, like sort of maybe poor, like port town, where you play as just like a guy who's helping this little girl write out a story that she wants to do. And it seems like you seem to have the power to go inside people's minds and help calm them, like bring peace to their, I guess their like inner chi, whatever you want to look at it as.
All right.
It, like, in all honesty, am I going to sit here and say it's going to be like this really amazing, like gameplay intensive thing? No, I think this is going to be very much a just really, really good, like 4 to 5 hour, just good, like emotional, like roller coaster of a story, which is the sense that I get with some unbelievably beautiful graphics and, quite frankly, a really, really nice soundtrack that does give me SNES vibes.
So this game, it's only about 4 to 5 hours in total?
I have no idea. I'm just assuming because that's the vibe I get from it, because I don't know how you make that a long game.
Mm-hmm. You say emotional roller coaster? Have you played To the Moon?
No, but I know of it, and I've heard many things about it.
Okay, because that is the most emotional roller coaster I've ever been on in my life, and I wonder how it would fare like on that kind of level.
Like, I feel like they're going for something similar to like what games have Gone Home and Tacoma and Firewatch have done, but this is set in more like an SNES graphic style, and it's, like I said, it's very beautiful.
You've sold me.
So it's another game that I've definitely really gotten a handle of, and when I played it, I'm like, the entire time I'm playing this demo, I'm thinking, this is so fucking pretty. And like, again, very soothing. Although I called, jokingly, I'm like, geez, I wonder when the negative stuff is going to come in. And then just like that, it's like, oh, here comes personal problems. Yay! Without missing a beat. But yeah, like, this is a game that I'm definitely looking out for. And the fact also that it's coming out of Indonesia just gives me hope, too, that this isn't just going to be something that's like North America, Japan, and maybe a couple places in Europe. Like, now that obviously Poland's come out with CD Projekt Red, and we're seeing more countries come out there. Hell, there's even a studio in South Africa doing work. South America's got work going on. So I love the fact that these things are coming to light. And not only that, but a game of this quality in my eyes from playing the demo, which is still free on Steam. And I believe this is coming to Switch, I think. I can't remember if it's anything beyond those two, but I know those two I'm pretty sure were included. And like, yeah, like I'm so happy to see that more countries are getting around to doing these kind of things, and it's not just the same 3 all the time.
Yeah,
No,
that sounds awesome.
No, because people are starting to realize that those nerdy kids. I'm just kidding.
I swear to God, like the bingo card, I wasn't even ready for it yet.
So,
physical bingo card required.
Well, people are
going
realizing the economical impact games are having. They are the biggest media source in the world, above movies and music together, like massively. And they're starting to realize, you know what, maybe we should start doing something. Maybe we should start making something. It'll help out our economy, and it's global.
I mean, it's just
It
just gives people more opportunities to get into that business where normally it used to be a very select few areas. So
yeah,
LA or Tokyo.
Not to mention too, when you get other countries involved in things, all of a sudden you get these interesting things you never thought of before. Like I never would have thought somebody making a game that looked like a Super Nintendo game that was Firewatch. Like everybody else is like, we're gonna have the cell shaded art style, or it's gonna be somewhat real. This one, they're just like, no, dude, we're going back.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And yeah, when it comes to the games from all over the world and stuff, I even get excited when I see stuff from Ontario, like where we're from. For everybody listening, obviously, you guys know where we're from. But yeah, like you take like Guacamelee, Cuphead, that kind of stuff. Like they're out of Oakville, Toronto area, like the GTA basically of Ontario, which is of course where a lot of people are from when it comes to Canada, right? But even during like all the IGN Expo stuff that was going on, the showcase and stuff, the amount of indie games I saw when it was then showing what platforms it was coming on, where it said like Ontario has this grant. Apparently they have.
Yeah, they always have the little logo at the bottom.
Yeah, and they've got that Ontario logo. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like,
we got a lot going on. People really underestimate, because it used to be like Vancouver used to be the real hotbed for a while, and it seems like Toronto and Montreal especially have really started to become hotbeds.
I'm finding in Canada is the hotbed for gaming development.
I mean, Ubisoft, I believe, I think it's either Ubisoft. I think BioWare at one point did.
It's definite. Ubisoft definitely does, because I believe an Assassin's Creed was made there.
Yeah, and Ubisoft Montreal made a lot of the Tomb Raiders and stuff like that. Like those ones are mostly done out of Montreal.
Oh, and also I think that really shitty Prince of Persia game that came out in 2009, I believe that was made in Montreal as well.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I don't believe that game exists.
Yeah.
If I look back, I don't think it ever existed.
So I'm moving on to things that are good again.
Never played it. I did. It existed.
All right, like I said, I'm moving on to things that are fun again. So we're going to scoot back to what. So that's really like I've been playing a bunch of demos. So for the most part, that's all I've been doing. I plan on potentially doing some other stuff now, but now that the demos has kind of settled down. But mostly otherwise, I've just been watching a couple things. So there are 2 things again. Anime, I finally got back into. It took me a while, just because COVID's kept me from not wanting to be still anymore. So sitting down and watching something was really difficult for me, because I feel like I always needed to be doing something else. So I finally have kind of relaxed a little bit, so I finally got back into watching a show. And so probably every week now, you guys are going to be getting a little bit of Church of Weeb content out of me.
Sweet.
So
it's been a while. It's been a long while.
So the anime I'm going to sell you on this time is called Dropkick for My Devil.
What the hell?
And this is the other thing you plebs have no idea what you're getting into.
It sounds like an album.
Curiosity. Now you got my attention.
Japan loves titles. Oh my god. Some of my favorite ones, like Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Stuff like that.
It's not.
There's some great ones. But yeah, Dropkick for My Devil is basically
what they have at this point.
Yeah. It's basically a show where it's almost like a slapstick comedy. There's no real overarching story. It basically is about a really like over-the-top gothic Lolita girl who is partaking in these satanic rituals and summons a devil from hell, except it ends up just being this lazy piece of shit like Snake Girl who just mooches off all her friends and is a complete asshole. Can't go back to hell unless she kills the goth girl. Problem is, goth girl knows how to fucking fight, so she constantly cuts the shit out of this snake girl who can regenerate, thank God, so it makes it funny. The amount of fourth wall breaking and over-the-top jokes and crude humor and gore and violence because this girl gets chopped into bits several times. My God, if Deadpool had an anime, this is pretty damn close.
So this definitely sounds like a porn, or it could be a porn.
I mean, it's anime. Everything can be a porn. That's just the rule.
That is true.
But yeah,
You had me at Snake Girl.
it's definitely just like a super chill show because most of the anime I do watch usually has to fall into two categories. One, it's funny, and two, it makes me turn my brain off because I don't want to think too hard. And that show does both those things very, very well. I don't have to think about shit because I ain't got to remember much. I barely even have to remember names if I want to because they say them 1,000 times. And then when it comes to funny, well, they certainly do that in spades because you're seeing the amount of fourth wall breaking, crude humor. They talk constantly about how, like, one of the first times the snake girl tries to kill the goth girl, she says, yeah, I know this is only the first episode, but this is the end of the series. This is going to be highlights for the next 11 episodes right off the bat. So
That is awesome.
they do some great stuff with that, and it's just a great show. The other thing that I watch is a documentary, and I don't know if you guys remember the movie. I think most of us should, considering we're all sci-fi fans.
I know this one. It's the documentary's called How to Train Your Dragon.
No,
Oh, okay.
that would be
Never
incorrect,
mind
sir. There was a documentary on the making of Galaxy Quest,
What?
which
The
is
I
one
didn't even know that.
which is on Prime Video, and it was a fucking
Allen?
really good documentary.
Tim Allen.
There are a lot of things in that documentary that I learned about that movie because I'm a big Galaxy Quest guy. That was one of my favorite movies growing up. I fucking love that
That
movie.
was fantastic. That movie was too good. It was too real.
So here's a couple of crazy things. Also, so there are three things that were really interesting that I found in that. One, Tim Allen was nowhere close to being the first guy that was going to get casted. There were so many names they had thought about.
course.
Some of them made no sense. Like Robin Williams' name came up. I said that would be terrible. I like Robin Williams,
Yeah,
but
that
that would have
would've
been
been great.
horrible. There were a couple interesting ones. Kevin Kline was an interesting one. The one that really grabbed my attention was Alec Baldwin, and I said that probably could have worked. Because I'm just thinking Alec Baldwin in 30 Rock playing a guy who thinks he's a real space captain.
Yeah.
That would
But it
work.
would have to be 90s, right? Because that was 90s.
It was
Late
1999, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 1999, Alec Baldwin. What was he like?
So what was that movie about? I remember
Basically, it was
seeing-
like Star Trek. It was like a Star Trek parody that aliens thought was real. Basically, the whole story is that there was another show called Galaxy Quest, and they're all doing their big fan gatherings, their expos and stuff, and most of the actors don't give a shit anymore because it's well past what they did. Except for Tim Allen's character, who is kind of in this, like, he didn't really do much else since, so it's all he had, and he just kind of lived his career off of it. So he is the captain, and he gets abducted by aliens who watch their show like it was real. So they believe everything that happened on that show was legitimate. So there's a real threat to their race, and they're thinking, okay, we need to get these guys because they're the best fucking space pilots out there. And they get all of them together to try to fix a problem. And they're all like, oh, we are so horribly unqualified for this.
You know what have made it so good is if one of the actors they were going to choose was William Shatner, because that would have been fourth wall breaking because he was actually in Star Trek, which is clearly parodying.
They still had some great actors in there, though. Obviously, Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver was, but this is fact number 2. Sigourney Weaver had to push herself into this role. She was told several times that she was not to be doing this role by the studio because they didn't think that she would work because she's done too much sci-fi already.
Oh, like she'd be legit and she wouldn't be faking.
No, that people thought, oh, she's just doing another one. Like, they thought that people would tire of it.
That's what I.
And I'm like, that's retarded because she's really good at it.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Awesome.
But yeah, those two, Alan Rickman is in
he
there.
was great.
Sam Rockwell, Justin Long before he became like really popular.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that. God, it's got to be early.
There's a
days for
few
him.
fun ones in there. And this was the third sad fact. They were going to make a TV series, and because Alan Rickman passed away, that put a kibosh to it. Right around the time that he passed away, they were in the process of filming it. And I'm like, that's depressing. Because I would have fucking loved that.
That would have been years, because he died in the 2010s, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think it was like mid-2010s, I believe.
So that TV series would have been at least 10 years after the movie was made. That would have been cool.
I would have been super happy in that. But that was a really, really good documentary. They went pretty in-depth with a lot of that stuff, and all in all pretty funny. Mostly everybody was back too. Like everybody that was obviously still alive to talk about it was there. So you got a pretty good amount of people
never
in there.
expect a documentary to be made about a movie like that.
Well, it's because it was his 20th anniversary at the time, so that's why they did it. But yeah, that's everything I've been doing. So let's move on to you, Chris. What have you been up to?
Well, I've only been playing a couple games, which I mean is not. I don't know. It's considering how much stuff we've had
been a
going on.
usual week.
Yeah, it's been a normal week. Just because I've got all the like E3 stuff, well, non-E3 stuff going on.
It feels weird saying that it's been E3, but it hasn't been E3.
Yeah, I just call it non-E3 E3. That's the only thing I can think of. So I don't know if I said this last week because I can't remember when this happened, but I beat that Slay the Spire game, the card game, Vishal, that you just mentioned that I was like refusing to not beat. The thing is, I beat it as one character, but it unlocks this like 1/3 of a jewel. And then I realized the only way to get the full jewel is to beat the game as all 3 available characters. So
that's like Super Ghouls and Goblins where you finish the game and it's like, psych, now you got to do it all over again.
So I went
what
in.
Metal Gear 5 did.
Oh yeah.
I don't know yet.
No, this was worse than Metal Gear 5 because at least Metal Gear 5, I'm like, I can do this and survive. This was hard, but I spent 17 hours and I did it. I went through the other 2 characters and had 2 very lucky, really good runs, one of each, and I actually beat it as all 3. And then the only thing that happened is it unlocked a 4th character, and I was like, "Fuck you, game! Fuck that! Like, why
That's
the hell?"
perfect.
But I want to play again. Yeah,
that's fucking perfect.
This is a reminder of back in the day when we were playing Smash Brothers in your basement, and we could not get to the batting level to a certain point. We finally got to that point, and all it was a trophy. We thought we were unlocking a song or a new character. A trophy.
Yeah, fuck.
It was like,
wow,
back in the day, there was so much like things that you thought was something, like everybody trying to figure out there was a way to get Mew in the original Pokemon, so you had to get to this certain spot on the SSN, and you did this. Or like GoldenEye, you could get on the island in the first level and there was some crazy secret over there. Man, we love fucking with people doing that shit.
Yeah. No, yeah, at least this, like, it gives you a 4th character, which if you really like this game, and I really do, like, I didn't install it. I plan on the odd time picking up and giving it a run, because one run only takes maybe 15 minutes, like, to get to the very end if you make it. The problem is obviously the chances, if it's only 15 minutes and it took me 17 hours to do it 3 times total, obviously most of your runs don't go through. But I do want to try as the 4th character, and I think it's kind of cool that it does unlock something.
You'll have to wait until you calm down to do it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm calm now because I've played other things. Actually, no, I'm not calm. I'm not calm, but that's because of the other game I was playing, which I actually just beat 15 minutes before starting today's podcast, which was Shovel Knight on Switch.
Nice.
Oh.
I went through, and the thing is that when I originally got Switch, I wasn't a Kickstarter backer, but I did pick it up on Steam when it was in early access, and I got a really good deal on it. It was something like $15, and the game is $50 now. But because on Kickstarter they hit so many of their different objectives or whatever they're called, they unlocked all these other things they promised. Like if we hit 2 million, we'll do this. Apparently they blew it out of the water and just made so much money off their Kickstarter. They ended up having to make 4 campaigns for this game. So I actually just beat the first campaign. Each campaign is a different character. And it's oddly enough, the next 3 campaigns are characters that you beat during Shovel Knight's campaign. So they're all prequels, I think. Maybe not all of them, but some of them are prequels to Shovel Knight. And it shows how they end up becoming bad guys that you have to battle during the game as Shovel Knight. Really, really cool. So I guess I'm done 25% of the game because I only beat today the first one. I went through, played Shovel Knight as Shovel Knight, the main character, and that game was so fucking good, but super rage-inducing. Every time you died, it was your fault, but it had Nintendo, like original NES difficulty on certain parts, because it's like, if you get hit, it's got that Castlevania like kickback, and like Ninja Gaiden, where if you get hit, you don't just take damage, you get knocked back. And there's a lot of bottomless pits and spikes. So when you get knocked back, you actually get knocked off the ledge. It's so fucking rage-inducing, but like when you do it perfectly, you're like, I am a gaming god that I was able to pull this
And
off.
then when you don't, you go, fuck this game.
Yeah, fuck this game. I think I played. I don't think it was overly long. I want to say it was like 8 hours to play through the one, so it'll probably take me 8 for each of the other campaigns. But the game is so nostalgic and built on all these previous games. When you jump, you hit down and you do the shovel, because a shovel is your sword. Like, that is your weapon. When you jump and you're in there and hit down, you do that pogo pounce attack that you do in DuckTales.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Now you don't bounce, but if you hit an enemy, you can continuously bounce on them. So that's super cool. It's got a world map like Super Mario Brothers 3, and you can choose the different levels, and it has the enemies that walk sometimes and appear on the main map, and every time you beat a level, they like adjust where they are, like the Hammer Brothers did in Super Mario Brothers 3. It's got 8 bosses like Mega Man. And when you get to the final area, you have to fight all 8 of them as one boss rush. Boss rush. Wow, that was hard to say.
Jeez, I thought I had trouble with
Mega
English.
Just like Mega Man.
Just like Mega Man. Like, it took inspiration from all these great
it's
games.
absolutely an homage to like every great like NES game.
Yeah.
It is the rage-inducing difficulty.
I've heard so many good things about that game. I keep trying to get around to it, and then it's just like it gets lost in the shovel.
Oh, well, you got to dig it out, Adam. You got to dig it out.
Tip your waitresses; they'll be here all night.
But the thing is, like, I just beat it, and I'm already super excited to like load it right back up and start with the next character. Who's it's funny because everybody's knight, like your shovel knight, and then there's Black Knight, who is like another shovel knight, but he has a black shovel. There's Treasure Knight. He's like a spelunker. There's King Knight, which is a knight that took over a kingdom for himself. So he's a king, but also a knight. Like, it's kind of funny that everybody is something knight. But it's really, 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 really fun. And the next campaign is actually King Knight. You actually go through as him.
Are you on campaign 1 of 4, or? I
just finished 1. I beat the last boss. It took me like 20 tries. But it's one of those things where there's a save point right before the final boss.
So it's at least generous. Well, that's definitely not like NES games back in the day.
Yeah. Can you imagine you had to go through that without a save point?
So you can actually choose to destroy the save points and get like $2,000 if you want, like out of gems, but then you have no save point. But you buy more health, extended magic, items that you can use, kind of like Castlevania, where you get different items you use. You buy items and you can use them here as well. Some of them you need.
Basically,
so you
it's a
want
risk
money
reward thing.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, do you want to destroy your save point and get that extra money and buy that extra armor? But if you die, you drop money. So you have to get back to where you died and grab the bags of money that you just lost from dying. And it's like super fucking stressful. I never destroyed any checkpoint. I was like, no, fuck that.
This sounds too rage-inducing to even want to attempt. Maybe if I was in high school, I'd probably try it, but nope, this sounds too rage-inducing to even attempt.
Yeah. Again, I beat it in 8 hours, so it's not overly long. It's like I don't know. Imagine being pretty good at Super Mario Brothers 3. You could probably beat that in like 8 hours. Same idea.
That's true. Well, you could beat it in about 2 if you use the whistles.
Yes, there's no warp points or anything that I could find. Although maybe there is. Who knows? But the final game I've been playing, which I'm definitely nowhere near the end because I'm only 10 hours in, Yakuza 0. Yeah, there you go, Adam. It's just for you. I've just started chapter 3 when you unlock the other character.
Oh yeah, you're getting to the fun stuff then.
What's his name? It starts with an M, I think.
Majima. Goro Majima specifically.
Yes, I just unlocked him, so like I couldn't remember, but I saw the entire scene where the club he owns, and there's like a patron being like inappropriate and like how he handles it. Oh my god,
that motherfucker is fantastic.
Yeah, he seemed really cool. The first 2 chapters, though, I've played through them, and I played as Kiryu, or however you say his name.
Kiryu, yeah.
Kiryu, yeah. That game is so fucking good. I don't know what it is. It has that like PlayStation 2 feel to it, kind of. But like obviously the graphics have been upgraded and everything like that. It also feels like a Sega game, oddly enough. Like it has that Sega arcade kind of feeling. Also, there's actual
actual arcades in there.
I totally went in, and then I was like, "Oh, where's Sonic and stuff?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm an
Like, it's
idiot.
great
It
because
takes
you can
place in
play like
1988."
fucking Outrun and Virtua
Yeah.
Fighter, depending on what game it is. Like, some
Yeah, it's
games have
super
different
cool.
machines. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, so that was like fourth wall breaking. I can't stop doing all these stupid side quests. I just did the one where you have to make the Thriller music video for Michael Jackson that's being directed by Steven Spielberg, but everybody's name has been changed because it's not actually them. Like instead of Michael Jackson, it was Miracle Johnson.
Yep.
And
It's
Steven Spielberg is Steven Spinning or something
Something
like that.
like
I
that,
can't
yeah.
remember.
Stefan Spellberg.
Oh,
Don't worry.
yeah. Oh my
I
God.
can't wait for you to finally get to the Nugget story. Oh,
Oh,
when
yeah.
when you finally get to that point, oh man.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make a music video where there's zombies coming at him as he dances," and they're like, "Who the heck wants that?" And they're like, "The music video is gonna be like 10 minutes long. Who wants that?" And it's like, "Oh my God, they're just making fun of Thriller." Like,
It's
that's
just the
what they're
greatness.
doing.
Like, that series is just the insanity of the fact that, like I've said so many times before, that you take a game that is some of the most serious, melodramatic stuff with some crazy fighting, and then crazy shit, just like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like this whole serious story about being framed, and he might have to he has to like exit the Yakuza to possibly, he would have had to go to jail because somebody killed somebody that he beat up, but he didn't actually kill them because you wouldn't do that to a civilian and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden you do a side story where you meet a guy and he thinks that his girlfriend is cheating on him because she's always buying lingerie. And it turns out when you find her, she's actually just selling her underwear on the street, and you have to shut down the underwear selling business. Like, what the fuck is this game doing?
It's some of the weirdest. That
It's the
honestly,
front.
sometimes, and this is why this game is so good. Sometimes, even though the main story is so good,
Mhm.
some of the sub stories, the side missions, can be some of the fucking funniest shit because that's all the
Yeah.
side missions are. Almost none of the side missions are serious. It's always
Yeah, no,
goofy shit.
every single one is just like goofy shit. Yeah, like there was a kid who had bought the new video game.
It's kind of like giving you Shaun of the Dead vibes. It's like the movie itself is comedic, but then there's moments that are like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, but
Like,
Japan
it's
likes to
so
take that and
dark
crank
like
the
that.
dial to 11.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shaun of the
I'm-
Dead on
yeah,
all the
but-
drugs is what the Yakuza games basically are.
Yeah, I'm super engrossed in the story too. Like I'll try not to spoil too much or anything like that, just in case any of the listeners or Vishal you want to play or anything. But like there's people competing over like real estate and all this other stuff in the game, as just pretty standard for a lot of stories and stuff. But like I'm super involved in all the different players that are all going after the same thing and betraying one another, and this person who's like a high-ranking lieutenant in the Yakuza is doing this and framing you here, and then you've got to like defend your name, but you're also trying to protect this person, and you have your best friend, but also the other people who are in real estate are trying to recruit you, and you want to find out about them and what are they up to and how are they doing things. I'm like super into it. It's just I keep getting distracted by, like, as soon as I see the sub story, I'm like, no, fuck it, I'm going over there.
That's
I gotta do whatever
honestly,
crack
that's
shit's going on.
probably how you should play Yakuza. Yakuza is not a game where there's filler. Like, in all honesty, there are very, very, very few games that do the open world, well, sort of open world because it's a very enclosed area.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
most games that try to have this long form RPG with a bunch of side stuff, usually there's a bunch of random shit that doesn't mean anything. Yakuza doesn't have filler. Unless
it's
the
definitely not
filler is
filler.
you just wanting to play darts or bowl over and over again. But there's everything in that game. It's not like it has intrinsic value on the story. It has intrinsic value on your enjoyment. Everything that you do is not just a fetch quest. It is something that will make you smile, laugh, like get angry, get sad. Like every emotion in the book gets played in that game.
Yeah, 100%.
So can
And-
you play this game like throughout without going on the side missions?
Sometimes
Or
you
you
will
kind of, like-
accidentally come across them. Sometimes you just will come
Yeah.
across them in passing because it's not like it's a you have to click to select it. You can just randomly walk into a certain area and something will happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could
okay.
rush through it if you want, but I would say why play that? Because that's not what Yakuza is. Yakuza is meant to be that mixture of you play the serious stuff and then you offset it with some goofy, goofy shit.
Yeah. I feel like I probably could have completed chapter 2 in maybe an hour or 2, hour and a half, if I had avoided all the side quests, because like some of them would activate, but you'd have to go talk to another person and you'd see where they were on the map and everything, and you could just avoid doing that. I think I could have probably just done the main quest stuff in an hour, but I ended up taking 3, maybe 4, probably 4 hours because I'm 10 hours in total and just started chapter 3.
And you haven't even gotten to the hostess minigame yet, which could take a lot of time up if you want to finish that because it's addictive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, because I know there's like 12 chapters. Yeah, sorry, Vishal. What's?
No. Go ahead and finish. It's a question for Adam.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I know there's, I think 12 chapters because I had to have a look because I need to have like an idea of how far away I am, so that I know what to expect. I need that. But I do see that there's going to be a lot of the side stuff, and I think it's like you can unlock managers and stuff eventually in this game as well.
Once you get to the point where you're really going in it, that's when more stuff will start popping up.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, I know that I'm gonna get, like, this is gonna be an 80-hour game for me, 60 hours minimum, I assume, because I'm gonna do all the side stuff and I'm gonna manage all the businesses and do the hostess stuff if it's in this game and all that. I'm gonna do all of it because I can't stop playing, and it's weird because normally when I finish a game like, say, Assassin's Creed, I want to break before I start the next one. If I've ever finished an 80-hour game or something like that. Like,
yeah, if everything was released for me, I would be playing them all straight through, no doubt.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I can tell that as soon as this is done, I'm going to be like, no, like, put the next one up. I want to.
It definitely helped for me that I got 0 right when it came out, so the remakes and the remasters hadn't been done yet. So it was gradual. So I was playing each of them like every 3 to 4 months they were releasing them. So it worked out nicely that way. You got a chance to put other stuff in. Otherwise, you got like a couple months of Yakuza games going.
Yeah, because I've got Kiwami. Is that how you say it? Is it Yakuza Kiwami? Yeah, Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2. I own Kiwami 1 already. Kiwami 2, I'm absolutely picking up in the Steam Summer Sale. Because now that I've started this, I know it's a nonstop party that's about to happen. Got like 180 hours of Sega stuff coming my way. All Yakuza.
Go ahead, Vish.
With the Yakuza series, is it does each game intertwine into the next game?
Everything is one fluid storyline.
Saga.
100%.
It all
zero all the way to 6. The current game that's finished is all Kiryu's story. So it's 7 games of his story. The newest game that we've been seeing recently with all these trailers, it's still part of that storyline, but it's now a new character that intertwines now with this one. But 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all one character stories. That does bring in a couple of other side characters to do their own stuff, but it's mostly centered on him.
Yeah.
It would be like Grand Theft Auto 1 through 5 all being one character. But it's not. No, Yakuza is straight up all the way through. It's all one big story. It's almost like a season of a show. It's Yakuza 0 is Kiryu, but one whole story. Once this game's done, that's it for him on that story. Yakuza 1, brand new story. Yakuza 2, brand new story. It's all the same timeline, but it's almost like a Scooby-Doo cartoon. It's just a new mystery this week.
Yeah. Yeah, all I need is 3, 4, 5, and 6 to come to PC, or when I pick up the PS5.
Because Judgment's set in the same universe, and it's just more of a detective style game, which is really good as well.
Is it also with the same character?
Is it still a Yakuza game? Or
it is made by the same guys. It is even in the same city that the Yakuza games are based in, but it's a new character, and it's more of a detective thing. It's Kamurocho, which is like an offset.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like a red light district.
Yeah. And I actually really appreciate the map because it's big, but like you can run from one end to the other within like 5 minutes.
Not to mention there's all the taxis on the outskirts, so you can really save time if you want as well. And like I said, I'm sure I said this on other shows, they keep using this map. The only things that may change are a couple of the places that like there are places you can go inside. But for the most part, by the time that you get to a few games in, you know exactly where this ramen place is. You know where a bunch of the convenience stores are. You know where the pawn shop is, where you sell all your stuff. So that's the other beauty of it too, is it's not just the characters that you become attached to, it's the actual city itself too.
Oh, also one last crazy thing. It's not really crazy, but one last thing about this game. The food in it had made me crave ramen so badly that one night first, me and my fiance Alex went out to grab like Mr. Noodles, like kind of stuff, because nothing was open, so we had to find like a convenience store. And I got noodles there. It didn't hit the spot because I was craving fucking noodles. Like,
yeah, unfortunately, our convenience store instant noodles are not as good as what Japan offers.
No. So then last night, because of this fucking game, we went to this Thai place and I got like Vietnamese style faux soup because I'm like, maybe that'll do it. And it still hasn't hit the spot. So now I'm still craving fucking ramen.
I am
because
pretty
of the
sad that like there's a
stupid ramen.
place downtown where I'm at that has
sushi
great
places
ramen, and
are
I don't
doing
get it.
takeout.
No, not sushi, ramen.
Yeah,
No, but-
ramen's not a really smart thing to do for takeout.
No. There's a
You-
ramen
you-
place
you-
in
you
Toronto.
need that
but
shit
it's
fresh.
Dine in. Yeah, there's this dine-in place in Toronto, and I want to go there. And as soon as they're open, like that, I can go in because I don't know if they were doing takeout. I'm going there and getting a beef ramen because like I fucking need it because of this fucking game series, and it's gonna make me keep wanting it.
Just inject it into my veins.
Yeah. Oh.
But yeah,
Chris just has constant noodles going in and has a heart attack from
I'm so
clogging.
glad that I'm able to express my love for this series with somebody else now. It makes me feel so happy inside. Now if we could get this asshole to watch The Expanse, then we can all share that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, speaking of, what haven't you
Speaking
done
of
this
this
week?
asshole, what have you been playing, asshole?
Okay, so I've finally put some time into Devil May Cry 5.
Did you
and
cry?
Yep.
I
Or
don't
will you
know
may?
if this series was. Pardon?
Never mind, I'm just making a shit pun.
Okay. Woo!
Boo.
So yeah, go sip on your tang.
Fuck yeah, I will.
So I don't know if I don't remember the game being like this before, but the last time I played Devil May Cry was either 2007 or 2008 when Devil May Cry 4 came out. And Devil May Cry 2 was absolutely horrendous, and I never really played Devil May Cry 3. So there is way too many cutscenes in this game. It's like every 5 minutes there's a cutscene. Or every 5 minutes, it's like, okay, you know how when you play Doom and you have to defeat all the enemies to proceed to the next level, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's happening. I remember that element being in certain levels, but I'm finding this element of you have to defeat every single villain, and then you're getting rated on your combat, and then you proceed further. It's a very bad flow. I don't know if it's just right now because it's in the beginning of the game. It's just really bad flowing of the game because you're just essentially you're playing, stopping, playing, stopping, playing, stopping, and it's not even a long segment. I legitimately mean every 5 minutes or so.
I mean, it
And
may also
again,
be
could
also
just
be early in the
be-
game. You never know.
Yeah,
Japan has a
I don't
lot. Japan has a lot of like over the top like video footage in their early stages because they try to get you so much engrossed in the story so that when the gameplay really goes, you just go ham.
Also true.
I'm totally fine with that. But
I mean, if you
So
come back next
far,
week and
okay.
you say the same things, then we got some problems.
Yeah.
yeah.
Also,
so
can you
far,
quickly
I'm-
refresh your camera on and off? Like, don't leave the call. Just quickly refresh because it is a bit behind.
Okay,
Who's-
no problem? I'll be back in a second.
Oh.
Mine.
But yeah,
So-
like it's definitely a game. Like, I really should go back and play some of them. Maybe even just start with 5 just for something cool because I've seen a lot of gameplay of it. It looks fucking fun, and obviously
it
up
does
my
look
alley
fun.
because I like my
Itself
Japanese
is
shit.
great.
So
It's great. It's over the top. The character designs are cool, and it's a little campy right now. But I remember Devil May Cry was a little.
Oh, that
campy
is
at
absolutely-
times,
Yeah, I
Devil May
expect
Cry.
it to be campy. Yeah.
but it's
campy
also it's
horror.
like dark campy. It's like there'll be moments where like the guy will just go into battle and he's like jumping. He's like basically flying like Neo, and then like just like casually just like chills like, what, you missed? Oh, were you even trying? Like I was like, hey, that's pretty cool.
I know
And then-
wasn't like the opening to one of the original games like literally him in slow motion, completely naked in like a pizza box, just covering up his junk while he's trying to get his guns and clothes.
I think that was the attempted remake.
Maybe,
I think.
I could have sworn it was
the
one of the older
DMC,
ones.
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
DMC.
who knows? But either just shit like that, it just makes me go, that's exactly the kind of shit I want to see in games. Just
No,
go
it's-
full
it's-
dumb. Go full dumb. I
It's
love
fun.
it.
I like it where like I don't know. It's like pretty candid. Then all of a sudden it's like dark. It's like, oh shit, just got real. And so again, I think it's going to be a fun game. I'm just not liking the pacing of it right now.
Yeah.
And also just not really things I've been doing. It's just like things I'm seeing coming along right now. So I don't know if you guys heard. So they're working on a Flash movie
Yeah.
to essentially reset the entire DCEU with their Flashpoint storyline.
That's
Adam,
a good idea. Restart everything.
Have you
think
seen?
that- Yeah.
Have you seen the Flashpoint animated movie at all?
I don't watch any of the animated stuff because I barely get enough time to get around to watching the films these days. So no.
Fair enough. But the Flashpoint animated movie that came out a few years back, it's so good. Again, this is the whole thing that like I don't know why the guys working on these animated movies aren't doing the IRL movies.
Because Hollywood thinks they're not good enough because they're not in their industry.
Yeah.
That's probably literally it too. Is like you're not of us.
It's
100%
so
that.
bullshitty because this movie was so fucking awesome. They have a lot of balls to make the choices they make in the animated movies, and they don't hold back. It's not your typical animated movie. There is like the violence is brutal. I mean, what can I compare it to?
Mortal
I
Kombat.
don't know. Is it Mortal Kombat brutal?
Actually, yeah, video game Mortal Kombat level brutal at some
Damn.
point. Like there is amputations, there's decapitations, and so what they're working on is Michael Keaton coming back.
I heard
in the
that
Flash
too.
movie,
Yeah.
which
I want that
is
so bad.
perfect because he'll. So the way it happens, the synopsis of Flashpoint. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but basically the Flash runs back in time, saves his mother, and causes a ripple effect where, because he did all of this, things changed.
What a selfish
There's
son
a-
of a bitch.
There's a civil war happening between two heroes. Bruce Wayne ended up being the person who died in the alley that day. And Thomas
Oh,
Wayne
good.
takes the mantle of Batman. And a lot of characters never become the heroes they were supposed to. And it's a complete clusterfuck. And it's like, Barry, what'd you do?
Wait a minute.
And
Can you just imagine in that alternate timeline the Joker movie with Thomas Wayne being Batman all of a sudden?
that would be.
Batman
twist.
is gonna be a prick.
Yeah.
There's a huge Batman twist and Joker twist in this storyline. And I don't want to say it too much, but it's completely different than what
You can tell us
think.
after the stream, or you can at least tell me because I want to know.
Okay, I will.
Also, a question: is that on Netflix? This Flashpoint?
No, but
Yeah, I can find it.
I
I'm
may
not
have a
I'm not
source.
saying pirate it, but
But
Assassin's Creed Black Flag it.
I
Ah,
understand. Get it
Sparrow
on
it.
Steam. Buy it on Steam. I understand.
Sea of
Thank
Thieves
you.
it.
so
Sid Meier's
this will-
pirates it.
but I also think that this was a little bit of a missed opportunity because originally in Batman vs Superman they had Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne, and I thought he would have been awesome as a brutally violent Batman because he's Negan and he's actually really cool in
Yeah.
general.
Oh yeah.
So that I think it felt like that was a missed opportunity. What they should have done is somehow bring in Batman Beyond and have Michael Keaton as that old Batman. That's
Yeah.
what I think they should have done.
I
but
mean, they
it's-
still can maybe now with the new Flash
Possibly.
movie.
So
He's
I
definitely
think-
going to be old Batman if he signs.
Oh, he's going to be Thomas Wayne in this one, I believe. That's the way I'm looking at it as. And another weird rumor I heard, I don't know how much validity is because this is a full-out rumor, is apparently in the Snyder Cut for Justice League when it's finally going to come out next year, they're looking at bringing Ryan Reynolds in as Green Lantern. I don't know how much validity there is in that because
How?
he absolutely hated it.
But how would
Yeah,
they
Ryan
do
Reynolds.
that?
If it was a joke, I'd like it, but this isn't Deadpool, so I don't know how to do that.
Well, it doesn't even make any sense. Like he wasn't in the original movie, so how would he be in the Snyder Cut? Is he? Are they just like
well, these-
flashbacking him somewhere?
the Snyder Cut is not necessarily a just cut scenes. It was more of a
Well, no, but
he
what I
had
mean
his
is like
vision.
they didn't film anything for him. So how
they
would
might
it
do
work?
it now?
I think
Like they
he
would
was-
have to bring him in and film shit. That's why I'm confused.
Yeah, no, there is some of the some of the Snyder Cut is being filmed and created. It's not like these were cut scenes. This was
Also,
They're adding.
this
It
makes
was his
no
vision.
sense anyway because clearly Ryan Reynolds as the Green Lantern is dead by canon.
No, that's in the Marvel
That is
Cinematic
true.
Unit.
Nope, no, that
Universe.
is canon, sir. We saw it with our own eyes.
Thank you, Canada. Or you're welcome, Canada.
You're welcome, Canada.
I think we're also missing one part. He wouldn't have to go in and film it. He was 90% CG in that Green Lantern movie anyways. They're just going to CG him in. They'll just
Yeah.
CG the face.
He'll
They'll go
just
full
paint
CG.
his bedroom completely green and then just film in there.
So
Yeah.
honestly, like they really butchered so much potential because again, I loved Man of Steel. I know Adam didn't. Chris, you liked it.
Oh, I love
thought-
it. It's yeah, I loved it.
and Wonder Woman was great as well.
Yep.
And
That's still other than Shazam, I think Wonder Woman was probably like the best one out of like all the Justice League ones they've done so far. That's definitely the best one.
I haven't fully seen Aquaman, but from what I've seen, I enjoyed it.
It was okay. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's just
It's
the whole thing,
really
like-
crazy to think that like we've watched so many Marvel movies and we can name like all the ones that we love, and then when we think of DC movies, it's like, I mean, Shazam was really good, Wonder Woman was pretty good, and then you just kind of stop and go, it's not a great track record.
No, it's
Yeah.
not, and it should have been. It should be, but it's
Not to
It's
mention
not,
like any
and-
Avengers movie in Marvel, we go nuts about. Any big movie in DC, like Batman versus
We're
Superman
worried.
and fucking Justice League, we are all like, I don't want to talk about it.
we're
Yeah.
worried about it essentially. A DC movie coming out, I used to be like, yes. Now it's like,
I'm at least confident now
please don't stop.
that they're at least it's gonna be good. Like it's gonna be fine. I'm not like, oh,
They're
this is gonna
trying
be
now.
epic. I'm just like, oh, it's not gonna be shit this time, I think.
they're trying now.
Like a
which
lot of
is-
people didn't like Birds of Prey. We went in just being like, look, just be fun. And we had fun.
I thought it was great. I thought
Yeah,
it
I
was
like
fun
that
as
movie.
shit.
If-
But now I think they're actually trying to fix shit because with Birds of Prey and also Joker, which isn't canon, but Joker is like a DC movie, and it's like, hey, we should actually try
Well,
because
I think they realized how much money they could have made instead of what they made.
Yeah.
It's not only that Joker did not have a big budget for obvious reasons.
Well, no, but I mean
Yeah,
in
no.
general, like Avengers movies always have massive budgets, but they make bank right back. DC
Oh, yeah.
really should have made so much more, and they fucked it up because they didn't
Yeah.
get near. I wish there'd be a stat to track it, but you know there were nowhere near as many rewatches for DC movies as there would have been Marvels.
It's but it's just I don't know. They got it looks like they're putting in the effort, and unfortunately right now there's nothing out in theaters because we can't go to the fucking
I'm
theater.
still like at this point that I don't even know if I want to go to a theater until there's a vaccine. Now, apparently, Fauci in the States was saying we might even see one at the end of this year. I'm not confident in that, but like if the fact that a medical expert's saying we might see one at the end of this year, I'm actually like somewhat hopeful.
Okay,
But-
here's the thing. Is he a competent medical expert?
He's literally he's not a Trump guy. He's literally like the guy that Trump gets pissed at all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But
So he's
wait,
legit.
but Trump had a point. If you stop doing tests, then there'll be less cases.
I mean,
don't
he's
you
not
think?
wrong, but he's also an idiot regardless. You can be right and dumb at the same time.
That is
Speaking
true.
of movies and movie theaters, so theaters are open in the States, like almost everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but in a lot of the states.
There's quite a few places where they're open now.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear what the #1 movie in the box office is right now?
Wasn't it? Oh fuck!
It was
Wasn't
something
it
ridiculous.
No, it was something old that got
It's
brought
something
back.
good. It's something very good, but yes, it is old.
Oh
I know.
fuck! What was it?
I know the movie.
Oh.
I just can't.
Was it Empire Strikes
like
Back?
No.
Fuck.
No, but apparently
This-
that's coming back for theaters because it's 40th anniversary soon. This
I'm
year,
gonna
this
be
year.
mad when you tell me what it is. What the fuck was it?
Jurassic Park.
Thank you. Fuck.
Yes.
The original Jurassic Park.
I knew John
#1
Williams was in there
movie
somewhere.
the box office. Apparently, it made a lot of money too, because like everybody wanted to get out and go to the theater.
No shit,
yeah,
dude,
I
dude.
read about it.
You
Made
could have put
$500,000.
almost any like marginally popular movie and people would have watched the shit out of that. Like if they just put Home Alone in there for no reason, we would have been like, "Fuck it, let's go."
Yeah,
what
true.
I think
I mean, I
deserves a
wouldn't, but-
re-release because it was so good, and I feel bad for it because it just went and got released. Was Onward.
Yeah,
I don't
that
think
would've been
Disney
good.
cares right now. Disney's
Yeah, I
making
know.
bank
Disney-
right now.
Yeah, Disney. I think they've made a lot of, especially even having Onward on Disney Plus right around that COVID started.
Oh yeah,
Like the amount of subscriptions for Disney Plus skyrocketed.
100%.
Like they must be making so much money, and it's worth it. Like I didn't even cancel mine; I kept it. There's new shows coming to it, Mandalorian stuff. I love that service, but yeah, they're definitely not too worried.
Can I
throwing
make a
that on there.
really bad segue?
Yes.
So going
please do
from
it.
a service that is not, or sorry, a service that is doing really well, let's go to a service that's not doing so well probably after their newest showing. So
I like
I'm not
it.
sure there's any EA Access subscriptions coming anytime soon after
Oh my
their
God.
EA Play.
Dude, how am I gonna play Madden? How are we gonna play Madden? How are all of us gonna play Madden?
I mean,
Buy it.
there's some great sleuths have gone through the trailer and shown how like they straight up lie to you about the improvements in that game because they talk about how real the tackling is, and yet they also show how they edited out 2 different scenes of the same play, so it doesn't look like the AI is completely butt fucking itself and going in a wrong direction.
That's amazing.
So EA Play, I actually had high hopes going in because EA for the last 12 months has not been a bunch of fucking morons. And then they proceeded to be a bunch of fucking boring morons by literally
Yeah, it was
releasing
boring.
almost nothing.
Yeah.
So
the entire
the-
EA play was pretty boring.
This is the list. Apex is going to go to Switch and Steam with full crossplay. Okay, cool. You could have quickly
I
done
mean,
that.
I'm very,
though. You could have
yeah,
quickly
I'm very
gone through
happy
that.
about that. But it could have been just announced on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like that didn't need to be.
The Sims 4 is
EA
going to be
Play.
on Steam. Cool. You didn't need a 5-minute trailer for that.
Sorry, which game?
The Sims 4.
Oh, okay, your voice cut out for a second. Sorry.
They did a couple of small indie studios like Hazelight and Zoink Games, which is basically EA like being like, look what we bought, guys, because they put no work into it. So
Or they
again,
had nothing to present, so they were like, "Hey, indie guys, you want to put together a little trailer? Because we need to fill time. Because
Yeah.
we did fuck all this."
I can't believe they had nothing to show. It's amazing. They showed off this game
So-
called Rocket Arena, which basically looked like a 3v3 Fortnite like PvP game. It didn't
Yeah, it
look
was
like
like
anything
Fortnite
that
mixed with
special.
Smash Brothers with rockets. I don't know. I couldn't.
So I was
no.
sometimes I'll just to like chill. I'll window shop on Facebook Marketplace, and I don't know how fucking stupid people think gamers are. I saw somebody selling NHL 16 for $20. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, man?
But
Yeah.
for Vish,
Like-
it's legendary. It should be worth $20, even though literally a boxed copy of NHLPA Hockey 93 for the Sega Genesis isn't even worth $5.
Yeah,
Think
and
about
that's
that.
actually like
Think about that.
that's a good one.
A boxed Sega Genesis game is not even worth $5. And somebody thinks that a 4 or 5-year-old hockey game on a new console is $20.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's ridiculous.
Well, the best thing is it's like you go to like EA, EB, and they will give you a quarter for that fucking game if you're lucky.
But yeah, like
It's like a Hanson CD.
there were other sport, like they showed us Madden and FIFA because that's their money makers, that's their milk.
Yeah, that's their money.
They showed a little bit of a tech trailer showing, I think it was Dragon Age and Battlefield. They were showing as the tech for.
It was like 3 images, and clearly that's not even gameplay footage. It's tech.
It looks
It's just
like
a demo.
looks like they're making a second Frostbite engine, which I go, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I guess. The only interesting thing, aside from what we'll get to at the end, they just said there's a new skate coming out, which is amazingly bad timing when Tony Hawk Remaster is coming, and there's a new Skater XL coming out, which is a whole new studio doing it. So that looks fucking retarded
Yeah.
on their
Is
part.
Skater XL a new
It's a
series, or
new
is it
studio
a-
doing its own thing. So
Yeah.
somebody
Oh,
else
it's like
was
a
trying to
third-
get
it's a
into the
third
market.
one.
Oh, and sorry, I forgot to mention one thing when I was going on my what I've been doing. So I was talking to the guys, and my next month is going to be Studio Ghibli month because I was looking on Netflix coming soon, and basically everything except Grave of the Fireflies
Thank God.
is coming next week.
No,
I need to see it
nobody
just
needs that
once.
kind of depression in these times right now. Nobody
Oddly
needs
enough,
more depression.
I own Grave of the Fireflies on iTunes. I could probably somehow get it to you.
Don't.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
I just need to see it once. If you
Yeah.
guys don't see me on an episode, you'll know why.
Actually, you know what? In that case, give it to him. Give it to him.
No, but I've been wanting to see Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro. What else?
Spirited Away.
Yeah, Spirited Away.
I don't know if it's
Howl's
included,
Moving Castle.
but The Secret World of Arrietty is really good.
I have not seen that one. And I want.
Honestly, I'll just look at all of them. Anything made by Studio Ghibli, I'll just try to watch like one a day or something, just to, because I know I'm not really into anime, but I know Studio Ghibli is like really the content is amazing.
It's basically the Disney of anime, essentially.
Well,
Yeah.
I know
And-
Miyazaki hates that title. He's the Walt Disney of Japan.
Well,
Maybe he shouldn't have got Disney to freaking distribute it in the fucking West then.
And he can hate it all he wants, but we're not saying it because they're Disney. We're just saying it because it's really like the family-friendly kind of anime that you can put in a movie theater and people will go see. That's really what it is.
And also I did see one of his movies just happen. My brother-in-law just happened to be watching it one day, and I just caught it with him. It's called The Red Turtle.
Yep.
I don't know. that
Yeah,
one.
there is no dialogue in that entire movie.
Yeah, some of those are
Turtle can't
straight
speak.
art. Some of it's just straight art.
This one was purely art. Like it was well done, and you got the sentiment behind it, but it was just like there was no dialogue, and it was 3 characters the entire movie.
Well, going back to not art, EA again.
Yes.
Since
Electronic
Electronic arts, Adam. There's art in the name.
No, actually,
No.
Electronic Assholes.
well, that's a whole different story. The only other thing of interest that I think really everybody was looking forward to, obviously, was Star Wars Squadrons, which, I mean, looks like it could be fun.
Oh, I'm super stoked for that. I want it like day one.
Again, I do have to remind people that just because they said that they aren't going to have microtransactions or a battle pass or anything like that, doesn't mean they won't change their mind. And I kind of expect them to do it. Whether it's
they're gonna
a
do
few
it.
months, 6 months, 12 months, I don't know. I expect them to. Because there's no way EA is going to want to just make bank on a Star Wars game and it just be the game.
Not only that, the game is up for pre-order and it's only like $50, like $49.99.
Which is why I'm
there's
suspicious.
Definitely going to be microtransactions, because at this point it'll be like, I think what they're gonna do is it'll be like Destiny, where they release it. People are like, "Oh, cool, this is fun. This is fun." It's like, we want more. We want more, and then it'll be like, "Okay, you know what? Everyone wants more content, so we're gonna add in more."
Well, if
for
they
the
do
low price
that,
of your soul.
if they do that, then they will straight up be taken to task for false advertising because they did say that this
Yeah.
game was not going to be a live service.
Yeah, no live service, no microtransactions.
So if they do
like,
that,
said it.
you
So
can
they'll,
legitimately
like-
take EA to task because
Yeah.
they've literally said it's not going to be that kind of game.
No,
I-
they're gonna do it.
Oh, they will.
I feel like
I think if they do the expansion route, they'll be in trouble. Like you can get away with cosmetics. You know what? Like we've always said, do cosmetics. Still price them fairly, but do cosmetics because at least it's optional. Like if
I
you
think
want
it's
to do,
awesome.
here's a concept X-wing that was made by this artist, or here's this version of the X-wing from this movie, or it's like a battle tattered one, or maybe there's specifically like Vader's like fucking TIE fighter, like do stuff like that. That's fine. You want to do that? That's fine. But as soon as you suddenly go, this will affect gameplay? Nope. All the Tracy Morgan, nope. Nope.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I
Well-
have a feeling that they've been getting so much shit for so long that they're willing to even take a hit on this game where they'd lose money. I
I
feel like
hope
they'd
so.
even just do that. Because I think they're trying to get in good graces again, even though they're going to fuck up at some point. I'm thinking like this year and next year or something. I think that they're actually trying as hard as they can to at least like not look like shit for a little while before they fuck up again. That's my assumption. That's my guess.
But for the most
you
part,
might be right.
For the most part, though, it's just the fact that they brought nothing. Like, if this was their E3 presentation, this would be a fucking joke. If this was an
and it was.
on-stage presentation, this would be a joke. I
This would've been-
wonder.
I think it would have.
I wonder if the reason they're doing this now is because since there's no stage, they can space it. I'm hoping that's what it is. But if this is all they had to show, fuck you guys. Holy shit. What have you been doing?
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
I think that
we know that there's going to be a Mass Effect remaster. It's pretty much confirmed by all sources. So you couldn't announce that. You could tell us Sims 4 was coming on Steam because you can charge $1,000 for that entire game. But you can't tell us a remaster's coming. We've heard rumors that Knights of the Old Republic 3 is in the works, but you can't tell us anything on that front. There was even supposed to be another Star Wars game apart from Squadrons to be potentially looked at. Nothing.
Yeah.
You guys are not working on anything else. There's nothing else. You just couldn't. Apex is coming to new platforms. Sims 4 is coming to new platforms. You got a couple of indie things. You have a piece of shit 3v3 game that doesn't look like anything inspiring because it looks like a Fortnite ripoff. You have a game that took you way too many years to fucking get back to in Skate. And finally, you have one Star Wars game. That's literally all you had. That's the best
But
EA
they'll
can
always
pull
have
off.
Madden.
Well, that's why I didn't talk about them, because we know that that's just there.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that Rocket Arena game wasn't even EA's until recently. It was under another publisher, and then that publisher backed out for some reason, and EA just
So
picked it up
basically,
and
they
not
just
too long
went,
ago.
money.
Yeah, like they just were like, okay, yeah, we'll pick it up because it's like it's kind of an indie game, actually. I
Yeah.
think so.
It's that scene from the SpongeBob movie. Why'd you do this? Money.
And here's the thing, too. It's frustrating because, like I said, the last 12 months, they've been really good. Like, I'm not even joking. The things that they have done, obviously, with Black Lives Matter being a thing, they've been doing a lot for black communities in the gaming industry when it comes to getting people work.
Yep.
So they've done really good things. And then they turn around, and the first showing that they get a chance to say, look at all this cool shit we got, and you showed us nothing. Half of your show was stuff that was already out.
Yeah. Like, I'm really happy with them recently because they're putting all their stuff back on Steam. They're doing crossplay, which they'd never done before, back like from PC to Switch to PS4, stuff like that. EA Access, which is going to suck, but like they're bringing that to Steam. Like, I can't tell if it's that they're being great. Like, again, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was great. This new Star Wars looks great. Are they being great, or are they desperate and they're doing everything they know their fans will love because they fucked up so hard?
Do you expect Fallen Order to come on sale during the Steam Summer Sale?
Yeah, it's already on sale. I'm just waiting to pick it up during the Steam Summer Sale.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's definitely frustrating because now that we've seen prevalence of like PlayStation, even Xbox, as much as we made fun of them for having pretty much no gameplay in their gameplay fucking reveal.
Yeah. It was still at least a bunch of new games.
Yeah, it was stuff we hadn't seen before. EA literally just popped in and said, thing you seen, thing you seen, thing you seen, kind of new thing you seen, thing you seen, thing you seen. Like, even the Squadrons trailer already leaked, so it was already stuff we knew.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So
and even in the Skate thing, there wasn't even footage. They just said, we're making a Skate game. It's like, when? If you're
They
not
just
showing me
decided
anything,
the
that sounds like
night
3
before.
years from now.
Yeah, they decided the night before they're going to make it and got those guys to go on their
Yeah, it just looks like a couple of guys at the bar just decided, hey, you want to make a Skate game? Yeah, fucking do. Let's do it.
Yeah. When's EA play? Tomorrow. Fuck yeah. Like, that's it.
Like, it's
like I want, like, thankfully I don't play any other games really.
I have
So I
not
don't really
bought a
have-
game from EA in 18 months. And I was hoping that potentially next year would be when I start. And it's not looking very good right now.
I'm definitely picking up Jedi Fallen Order, and I'm going to get Squadrons at some point.
Oh
Especially
yeah,
since it's releasing for
Okay,
$50 Canadian. That's insane.
Squadron. So what is the game like? Because I haven't had a chance to see anything for it. Is it an action game?
It's 5v5 Rogue Squadron basically.
Yeah, it's a dogfight. Like,
Oh,
and you're
okay.
in the,
So it's so you're flying in you're flying the spaceships in Star Wars, the fighters and the TIE fighters, and it's a battle royale almost.
No, it's just
But
straight
you
up
got
fight. It's
team?
just like team deathmatch basically.
But there
Okay.
is a single player campaign where you play back and forth
Sure.
between somebody on the good side and the bad side.
Like let's be honest, it's Rogue Squadron 3. That's really what it is.
It is. It absolutely is. And it's all first person from the cockpit. And I fucking loved that.
That'll be really interesting. That'll be
You said-
weird, especially at
Yeah.
that speed. You're gonna get fucking dizzy Can you imagine that in
Yeah.
VR? Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's
Oh, man,
VR
that's-
compatible. It's VR compatible. Like that's insane. Getting that on that would be the game on. I wouldn't do it on PC because VR is way too expensive. there,
PlayStation
but
VR if it comes from PS5.
PlayStation VR, that would be the game that would get me to get VR. 100%.
And apparently the VR set for PlayStation 5 is going to be a lot better with motion sickness. So hopefully it can handle that.
Yeah.
Well, the way I'm looking at it is because with me, I have a wide angle lens and I do video with it at times, and it's kind of like fisheye. So it's not as bad as a fisheye lens, obviously, but there is some fisheye, and I find that when I'm looking through it, I can see where the motion sickness comes to because it goes from round to flat, and
Well,
it could cause some like dizziness from that.
I mean, realistically,
think-
with VR headsets, it's more just again, it's that you're losing your perception of reality, so it's now an image that's not your own eyes. So
Yeah.
there
So I
is
think
that thing
what
of like, especially
they're
because it's in
gonna-
different frame rates too. It's not what you're normally used to seeing in eyesight. Because at least if you're watching 60 frames per second on a TV, you have the rest of the room around you, so you know that's there. As soon as you're seeing 30 frames, 60 frames, whatever it may be, it's not the same thing your eyes are used to looking at, so it fucks with you.
I used to get very sick from first-person shooter games like Half-Life when I would play sitting at my desk because there wasn't enough of the room around me, like I was too close to the screen. So I'd actually have to change the field of vision to back out of the game because if it was too like zoomed in, like it was actually first person and like you'd see it at the right perspective, it made me sick because it wasn't the right, natural frame rate of real life or whatever. Like it's exactly as you're saying.
Good thing you didn't play Wipeout.
Wipeout would probably be okay. It's usually first person perspective stuff because your eyes are trying to adjust like it's your first.
Oh no,
First-person
Wipeout you can play
perspective.
in first person. You can play like in
Oh, then
window
fuck
view.
that. Oh, Jesus.
The most important
know that.
thing, the most important thing to know though, is that if you do play Squadrons in VR, for the fucking love of God, do not do a barrel roll.
I would do only.
Do a barrel roll. Do a barrel
The
roll.
only thing I would do.
You do 10 barrel rolls in a row. I hope that floor is not a carpet.
Yeah. Oh.
Do a barrel roll.
Squadrons does
And,
look good. Just to sum up.
But I think what they'll try to do is because when we were at Fan Expo, we tried this VR headset, its simulator or Pennywise simulator that year, and when I noticed when I was moving, it was the same as the wide angle lens where the center was like flat but the edges were rounded, so it's like you were moving, and that I can see giving people motion sickness. So I think they're gonna fix that vision perspective on that format as well.
Well, we'll obviously see too, and
Hope so.
PlayStation, for example, shows off their new VR headset because they have said that they've put in a patent that does better motion sickness things. So, but we'll see as that goes. But as far as EA is concerned, we were not impressed.
No,
Like,
they were doing nothing. There's
apart
one
from
game on there
Squadrons.
basically that they're making.
Yeah,
They're making one game.
like it was a joke. And from a company that people have been viewing as a joke for about 5 years now, I guess they played the game the way that they normally do. It's par for the course for EA.
As a
Yeah.
joke.
But we are going to take a momentary break because some people may need to go to the washroom or refill their drinks, mostly drinks, because we're all horrible alcoholics on the show, or at least in my case, tangaholics.
Empty.
Yes.
So we will be right back, hopefully in the next 5 to 10 minutes, to which we will be coming back talking about more games that we've seen, specifically from things like the New Game Plus Expo, and as well as today's Avengers Roundtable, or War Table, I should say, along with a bit of an issue I have to take with people and the way they've been reacting to Last of Us 2. So we will get into that much sooner down the line, but we will be back very shortly, so we will see you guys then. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the VCR podcast. So, we obviously have talked about a bunch of games that we've been playing. There's also been a bunch of stuff we've been seeing. I don't know how much you guys are going to get deep into this. The only thing that I really have anything from is from the New Game Plus Expo, which is basically just a bunch of Japanese anime games, because most of the other stuff that we've seen, I was like,
shit.
I didn't get too crazy into it.
I have just 3 games from I think they were all from the New Game Plus Expo as well.
We're probably going to have some overlap then. The first one, obviously, this is a no-brainer for me, is Trails of Cold Steel 4. Because I have not been playing that series at all, and haven't talked about
Not
it
at
on the
all.
show
You weren't talking
several
about it for
times.
3 weeks at all.
No, I've never done that. Ever.
You weren't emotionally distraught after finishing the game at all.
Nope, didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about. Absolutely
Yeah.
nothing. for like, there's nothing too crazy to talk about. I mean, yeah, like I'm showing the trailer as we speak. Nobody's gonna understand what the fuck any of this is if you haven't played the other three games. But like, holy fuck. It's really, really hard for me now to pick this up because here's the problem that I'm running into. It comes out in October. You know what comes out the month after that, right?
Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm. You know what comes out the month before October?
September.
Avengers.
Yeah.
So I'm in a weird spot.
I
You're
think
gonna have to do
Avengers.
okay, man.
I think Avengers can be finished in 20 to 40 hours.
I don't believe so.
guessing.
It won't. We'll get to that in a moment, but I'll explain why that won't be the case. But Trails of Cold Steel 4, honestly, is just going to be it's like playing it's like playing Uncharted 4 to me. It's fine. It's like putting this is the end of this. This is the end of this story.
This is the last one, right?
This is it for the series?
There is another the series, no. For this specific arc, yes.
Yeah.
So there's apparently a game that they're already working on that might be like a bridge that's like more of like a kind of a fun offshoot, but this is straight up the end of this 4-game like story that they've been telling. And it's going to be bittersweet because I'm expecting some more death. Because there's a couple deaths in 3, and there's no way they're stopping. I will be shocked if that's it. So I'm gearing up to be like really disappointed by people that don't get to live to see the end of this.
So with Trails of Cold Steel 3, was there a death in the end of that game that really made you distraught, and that's what really caused the emotional turmoil?
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
Damn, I still gotta play all those games, starting with
Trails in the Sky.
What is the other series? It's Trails in the Sky.
I don't know how you're gonna get to that though.
Are...
You got 6 other Yakuza games to finish first. Actually, it'll probably be 7 by the time you get to the end of that, because Like a Dragon will be out.
Adam, you don't get through a backlog like mine without dual gaming. You always have to have 2 games on the go.
Okay, Chris, but you know what your rule is. It's 1 long game and 1 short one. You're gonna basically be playing 2 games that are both 40+ hours.
Then what we need to do is cut out sleep.
Considering cut out what?
Cut out sleep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who needs?
I mean, I've already done it.
So Chris is no longer on the show from his cocaine addiction.
Cocaine?
No. Just straight coffee and games, man. And then when it's like, it's time for bed, some whiskey or Guinness wouldn't hit fast enough. It'd have to be
no meth or coke then?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not needed.
Then.
Maybe some chocolate.
So that's one that we crossed over on. I imagine another one would have been Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2.
Yes, that is another good one. And also on my list, yeah.
Which is basically like the only way I can explain it looks like an old Castlevania game with like 4 characters instead of 1.
Well, the guy who made Bloodstained is the original creator of Castlevania.
Yeah.
So the guy who used to make them and then left Konami started his own studio, and he's been making these Bloodstained games. They're amazing.
That's one series I think actually deserves a reboot. Castlevania. But
technically this is it. kind of this is it.
Yeah, this is like
it's not official, but it pretty much is because it's made by the guy who created it. So.
Yeah, different characters, but same idea.
No, but
I can't wait.
Anime that
is Castlevania Capcom or Konami?
Konami.
Oh, then fuck them because I don't trust them.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen Have you seen what Konami's been doing with Metal Gear?
Yeah, they made one of the greatest games.
No. You're not understanding me. Kojima's gone. They made a new game. Gone. It's called Metal Gear Survive. And it's
what?
Metal Gear Survive, and it's garbage.
Oh, Survive. Oh, they said
Survive.
5. I'm like,
they made another Metal Gear since Kojima left.
It was.
They made another one, and it's terrible. And Konami just seems to hate their customers now. So I would not want Konami to make another Castlevania because I don't think it would be any good.
No, they've been doing shit lately. Like, they've been just fucking up everything.
Like, Capcom has come back. Like, Capcom got their shit together after fucking up Mega Man and everything else under the sun for, like, 5 years.
You know what Capcom's got to do? Just sidebar here. They got to make a new Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Make it, like, old school, like, still platforming. Kind of modernize the graphics. Still make it, like, pixelated or cartoony or something, but still, like, old school. Fuck.
Am I going to hate myself, though?
Yeah, of course.
Well, then I don't want to. I wanna.
I want to hate myself. I want to, Adam. I want to.
I don't know.
Man.
I think Castlevania would be fun to see, especially now with the anime on Netflix. I think it would be a great opportunity to bring it back.
It would. It absolutely would. If they don't fuck it up.
I can't. I can't.
Yeah. I would love it. I would love if they brought it back. Like Symphony of the Night brought it back.
So I'm gonna buy that game one day, and I think that'll be the last PlayStation game I ever buy in my life because I just
Like
need to
PS1?
play it.
Like PS1? Yeah.
But yeah. Actually, you know what? What's the other game? Because you had 3.
Well, actually, the two you mentioned I kept off my list specifically. Well, not Bloodstained. I guess I had 4. But the Trails of Cold Steel, I was like, I'm not writing this down. Adam's gonna fucking lush over this for like a lot.
What? No, I would never do that.
I actually had one from the developer, the Day of the Devs, by Devolver Digital, was it? I can't remember who actually put that on. Anyways, that one, it's not even an indie game. It was just how it started, where it was Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Oh god, yes.
It looks like, I mean, if that was announced and Crash wasn't a thing, everyone would probably be like, why are they making like a PS2 kind of game?
No,
And,
I
like-
think it's very much suited for PS4 or 5.
I just mean the style is very much like 3D platformer, which is very uncommon now, like AAA uncommon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons
Sure.
of indie games, but no AAA like studio wants to touch 3D platformers right now. It seems, as far as I can tell, I might be missing some at like in my
No,
head.
you have a point.
Yeah. So like to see something like that, so they brought back an old style of game and went and like AAA with it. To me, is like kind of cool. I was very, very much on board with that. And I love that they threw shade at their own series, because there's Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3, and this is the 4th one. But apparently there's like 8 games with all the side games that were made by a different studio
Yeah.
or made by Activision. And then they were like, oh man, how many times have you defeated this Cortex guy? And they're like 3. And the guy's like, no, I think it's more. Like, nope, it was just 3. This is the 4th time we're going to fight him. Only the 4th time. Like, they're actually throwing shade at their own fucking games. When I saw that, I was like,
because they
okay,
know
I
that they
think
weren't
I'm
that good.
Yeah, that means the developers are aware of the bad games, so this one's probably going to be good, but they're also willing to admit it, and that's always a really good sign when making a game.
Yeah, when you're willing to admit you
I was
made
really
something shit, that's a good sign.
Yeah. And it did look fun. Probably it's going to be hard, because as Vishal, you mentioned, the
I guarantee you it won't control as bad, because if you don't, I don't want to hear Fish bitch about the fucking Crash controls again.
No, I think it'll be different, because this wasn't cut and paste. This is a brand new game, so there's going to be more options and less rage inducing.
Yeah.
There might still be rage inducing.
No, but I mean not as bad as like it was in the OG games.
Yeah, it'll still be tough, but it'll be like a lot better, and it'll be a lot more fair and more responsive. So when you die, it's your fault, not like old Control's fault. Yeah.
Not like I got touched by a turtle and I'm dead. It's like, I'm going to just throw this to the TV and just...
I mean, turtles are very dangerous, let's be honest.
No, we've seen Mario.
That's true. So yeah, that was Crash 4. And then the other 2 games I have, one is Sea of Stars. That's that Chrono Trigger looking game. And it's made by the people who did The Messenger, which is weird. So The Messenger is like a Ninja Gaiden side-scrolling looking game invented by this studio. And Sea of Stars, which has nothing to do with ninjas or Ninja Gaiden or anything like that, is made, and there's like a girl of the moon and guy of the sun, and they play out like they know magic. It
looks like Chrono Trigger, just not being a Akira Toriyama.
Yeah, but the crazy part,
SNES graphics, or
yes, absolutely,
like to a T, like the like the awesome. End of the SNES lifespan. The crazy part is this game is a prequel to The Messenger, story-wise. So like, how does Chrono Trigger turn into Ninja Gaiden? Like in my head, I'm trying to put this together. And this makes me just want to play all of it, and I want
because video games, Chris.
Yeah, but it looks beautiful, as you've seen from the trailers and everything. Like it is Oh, it just like tugs at the heartstrings. It's like in my head, it might be Chrono Trigger 3. It's not, but like that in
Well,
I will
it
just
seems
say
like it's
that
going to be the
myself for a
closest
little
thing
while.
for you at this point.
It really is. And then the last game for me, which neither of you, I don't even think you've ever even played this series, Harvest Moon, New World.
Fuck yeah.
I think it's called.
That's
One
where
World.
Pit is from Smash Brothers, right?
No.
No, that's Kid Icarus. Harvest Moon is a farming game.
No, no, Ike or
No.
Nest.
Again,
Nest.
no. Again, no.
No, that's
Okay.
Earthbound. Yeah, it's definitely
Earthbound. That's what they're
Yeah.
from.
So yeah, Harvest Moon is a farming game that was originally came out on Super Nintendo by Natsume. And they had the series up, and it was on N64. There was Harvest Moon 64, a great game. Then it was out on GameCube, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. It was a great farming game that was cartoony, and you would like get married and have to have kids. Like it was like farming and simulator. But Vishal, you know how you're always talking about simulators actually being more arcadey and feeling like a video game? This was that. Like it was a cartoon, and you had to like give strawberries to people, and then they'd fall more in love with you. And one girl had anime hair, or actually multiple girls had anime hair.
I was going to say,
I think Adam just got interested in this game.
dude, I've
pretty
been
sure
playing
he
this game
played-
all the way. I grew up with this game too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Harvest Moon is fantastic, but all the developers eventually left. I don't know what happened, but they all left, and they started making their series Story of Seasons. So Story of Seasons is actually Harvest Moon because it's the developers and it's the proper style. And they're actually re-releasing Friends of Mineral Town, which used to be Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, but somehow the developers actually have the rights. They're re-releasing it like modern day on Switch and PC and stuff, but it's called Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town.
Yeah.
So they actually have the rights, but Natsume has the rights to the name Harvest Moon. And they have had some super shit releases as of late. There's one called like Light of Hope, and it literally is an iPad game that they have released without changes on PC and PS4 and stuff, and it's horrible. It even looks horrible. It is garbage.
I mean, I from what I saw from the Harvest Moon trailer in this, I'm not impressed because I don't think Harvest Moon in 3D has ever worked. I think if they came back and said, "Here's Harvest Moon in old school looking," like Harvest Moon 64 is the last time those games were really good, if we're not counting handhelds. But console releases, they've been horrible. Yeah. And I'm not convinced from what I saw in this trailer that made me go, okay, I'm back. The Stardew Valley is so much better. And like you said, Story of Seasons is now a thing too. Why would you go to what looks like a lesser version, an inferior version?
Yeah. The reason I'm interested in this Harvest Moon is just because I've seen all the last ones, which they weren't 3D, but they were just giant piles of garbage. And this one looks like they're trying something different. I'm probably not going to buy it, but I do want to keep an eye on it because I want to see if they can
I would at least
do
be
anything
aware of what's going on, but I don't have high hopes.
Yeah, I don't either. But if it's another dumpster fire, I want to be there for it.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
But
yeah, those are the only other games.
Fires are fun to watch.
The only other two small things before we get on to obviously Avengers, Guilty Gear Strive, they just showed more gameplay footage, which again, awesome fighting game. And it's crazy now they're doing this weird like 3D plane with it. So like sometimes if you do a perfect shot, you'll see the camera tilt almost like it's kind of doing like the Matrix like camera moves around thing. It looks fucking neat how that's gonna work. So that's interesting. And then they show it.
Are they doing it kind of like Soul Calibur almost?
No, it's still a 2D fighter. There's no 3D axis. It's just the camera is moving around during some of the moments. Yeah, be like big moves or something. And then otherwise, they showed a new Ease game, Ease 9. I think what was the fucking? I'm gonna butcher this title. It was Monstrum Nox. I think was the title of it. And again, just another Ease game. Although Ease games have been like hit or miss. Like I really liked Oath and Felghana. I liked Ark and Napishtim. The last couple ones I haven't been too thrilled about. This one looks a little bit better because it looks like a much better 3D version. That's more of like looks kind of like Zelda-ish in the way that it's set up. Like I'm not saying like it's going to be an open world adventure. I'm just saying more of like the way that the camera is styled. So I'm at least a little bit curious there. But Ease games have been a little bit rocky recently because they're mostly just hack and slash grinds. So it really needs a little bit more to get me interested these days. But yeah, for the most part, NGP. The other weird thing is so many people downvoted the stream, which is strange to me because I don't know why. Yeah. Like I legitimately, I'm like, okay, maybe something bad happened in this trailer. Nothing. And I looked for like controversial stories, nothing. I think people just got mad because they saw Atlas on the bill and there was no Persona news. That's the only thing I can think of.
I really liked it because it was it gave me very much the Nintendo Direct vibes, where it's just trailer,
Yeah.
release date, trailer, release date, trailer, release date, trailer, release date. There was no interviews, there was no fluff. It was just, here's 45 minutes of a bunch of trailers, enjoy. And it was done nicely, like it was to the point. It wasn't like spectacular, like it was some conference where
but
it
was
was PS5.
But it was all new stuff.
Yeah, but there was nothing wrong with it. It was all new stuff. There was gameplay. Like, I wouldn't have changed a thing. I thought it was perfect for what it needed.
You're talking about there was angry fanboys?
What I think, honestly, I think it's one of two things. It's either people that thought there was going to be big news, which makes no sense because why would a developer do that on another random stream and not their own?
Exactly.
Or two, they just didn't expect it to be all Japanese anime shit, which I kind of figured out real quickly based on the people that were on the list to be in that show.
So it was a list of Japanese companies that are revealing their games. What the fuck do you think it's
either that or they're super sexist because there was 2 female geared like dating sim games and they probably just went women blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
So
fuck. Yeah. Vishal, did you watch this one?
No, I this one I didn't.
I don't blame him. It wasn't even for him. I don't know what Vish would have taken out of it.
Wasn't. But if I may make one suggestion,
okay,
why don't we leave Avengers for last so we can talk about something we were angry at, then talk about something we were happy with. If I may make a suggestion, but
I mean, I'm good either way.
Last of Us. So moving on to Avengers.
The Last of Us Avengers.
So
you sneaky.
The game has come out. Last of Us 2 has come out. We all know this. The reviews are really positive. I'm not surprised. The user scores on Metacritic are not.
No. It's like 10 out of 10 almost for like reviewers and 3 out of 10 for users.
So I'm the only one of us who's actually played the original game in full, beat it and everything. And for me, it was a video game that turned video games into an art form. It wasn't just a game. I played it and I'm like, this is a work of art.
More so than Heavy Rain.
Okay, it was the second video game I ever played.
I knew it.
Felt like
More so than Madden?
Please, Madden is not just art. Madden is legendary. Madden is amazing. Madden is just a piece of shit, and I have so much trouble praising it like this.
So, yeah, the game is out. People, like, critics seem to really love it. A lot of people seem to really... It seems like it's divisive.
Okay.
There are people that do have issues with the story, which we've didn't spoil because we didn't want to talk about the leaks in full, and we still won't because why ruin it? Yeah. We're not assholes.
Yeah. With the leaks that Adam found and had presented to us, majority of them were unfortunately true, except for one part.
Yeah, there's one part that is not what we thought, but the part that is not what we thought was more of a guess than it was an actual like show. We didn't know the answer; we just assumed.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah. So if the story, which it seems like it's accurate, it is a giant kick in the balls into the audience, into the fans of the game of what it should be, because essentially this was a bond between certain characters that was, you know, I'm going too much.
I don't even like honestly. This isn't even the important part. I don't even want to talk about really the story and what people are reacting to that. Because I mean, I could spend an hour talking about how pissed off I am at people being hateful on both sides. By the way, because there's a lot of transphobia going on one side, and there's also people that are refusing to understand criticism of this game either. So there's both to this. But there is really one conversation I really want to have in this is that. And it really is not necessarily indicative of Last of Us 2. It's just something that has now come of it. And I think we need to talk about how reviewing needs to be done on websites. Because I don't believe for a second that how this game is indicative of what the industry needs to be like. Because there are so many things wrong with how this game was reviewed. First thing is that all the companies that got it right away to review it, they were not allowed to talk about the second half of the game. They were told specifically, you cannot talk about the second half.
Oh my god.
Which is a problem because that's kind of important. Because Last of Us 2, I know the gameplay is pretty big, but let's not kid ourselves. The story is what it sells on.
Yeah.
And if you can't talk about the story,
hearing,
that's a problem.
Yeah.
My one friend is playing the game right now, and I trust his reviews. His are pretty on par with mine. And he said the gameplay itself has improved significantly.
Yep.
And to the point of like Metal Gear Solid mechanics. And those are some really sophisticated mechanics of gameplay.
It's one of the most accessible games ever. Like the amount of options for people. Like they figured out shit that you can do for people that are blind, for all these different accessibility options in terms of disabilities. Like it's amazing what that game has done and shows how gaming should be in terms of what it offers to everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the
100%.
flip side, we also have to address how it's being abused in terms of, again, the reviews. Because the reviews is the biggest part of it. Because that's the whole thing. Everybody is freaking out because IGN gave it a 10 or because this guy review bombed it and put a 1 on Metacritic. So let's start off with the most important thing, shall we? Don't fucking care about Metacritic. That's first thing. Pretty important. Metacritic is an aggregate. It has nothing to do with one person that you should be trusting. It's not you trusting a single reviewer or a chain of them. That's why I don't trust IGN, because IGN doesn't use the same person for every same game. So, like, somebody who may not like JRPGs as much as I do may be getting to review Persona 5 and may not like it as much. So that doesn't mean anything. That's why I trust YouTubers.
If it's a situation like that, it does give somewhat of an unbiased opinion if someone's not used to this type of game format.
But that's not what I am.
If they're...
That's why I say go to YouTubers, because you can find the guy who's the most like you. So you can figure out where you stand. Because if you just go to Blanket's websites, GameSpot, IGN, all these places, sure, they'll give you a score and they'll probably give you a pretty good thing, but they aren't always you. They aren't always in your interest. They aren't always looking for the same things you are. They may care more about the sound quality in the game than the story. They may care more about the characters rather than the world build. You may never have the same person. And when these reviewers are never consistent, which also doesn't help, and considering that we already have the problem with, I don't believe review scores are used properly because we don't use the numbers fairly. We don't use them the way they're supposed to be used for, which is a conversation we've had before. But it's just from this side, the way that we review these games is done poorly. And it doesn't help that, like I said earlier, you weren't even allowed to talk about the second half of the game, which was the whole basis of people's annoyance with this game in the first place, based on these leaks. So the fact that they didn't even want people to talk about it tells me that they wanted to hide it. And because these leaks are basically true, shows exactly why.
Yeah. Like this was probably the most anticipated PlayStation sequel since Uncharted 2. And the way it seems to be coming out, it's, again, the game itself, apparently I'm hearing, is really good.
A lot of people are still saying it's a masterpiece, and that's the beauty of it too. Some people are they're able to look past the flaws that it might have.
Yeah, because gameplay wise and everything, you can't complain about the actual gameplay.
No.
I mean, if you don't like that style of game, you cannot like it.
Yeah, I would complain about it because it's not my thing, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's getting 10 out of 10s. I'm happy for that because I wanted that. I don't want this game to be a 4 out of 10 failure because that means future games get affected by this. I want this game to be a success because it keeps the industry going.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like I said, it's the original. Like it could probably be, it's up there with Uncharted 2 for the best, in my opinion, the best game of that console.
And I mean, at the same time, too, we have to go to the other side, too, of the people that are so against this game. And
look. if you don't like this game for the game and for the story, I get it. But for that stupid shit that people are bitching about it, it's fucking ridiculous.
Like, there are two sides of this coin, so I'm going to address two different sets of people here. So, number one, if you are an actual Last of Us 2 fan and you found out of the leaks and you got real pissed, fine, cool. It's your prerogative. You are a fan of this franchise. You care enough to say, I'm not going to buy this.
Yep.
Cool. No problem with you. Then we get to the other side, which are the people that, and you people know who the fuck you are, were the ones that were never going to play the game. You never had any intention of playing this game, but because you were transphobic, homophobic, racist, whatever bigot you want to be, you decided that this would be a great opportunity to attack something. Because again, brigading is so much fun on the internet, guys.
Yeah.
So,
But at the end of the day, both of you are still in the wrong because giving a game a 1 on a Metacritic is not indicative of helping this. Because, by the way, to all the people who thought, oh, I did my part and won this on Metacritic, the game still broke records.
yep.
So it didn't matter. You failed. You know why? Because you're a vocal minority and no one gives a shit about you. That's the reality. Go back to your little bubble where you can talk about how everybody is fucking ruining the games industry, because by the way, they're not. And go back to your little hole where you pray that Trump wins the fucking election. But that's a whole nother goddamn conversation. The reality is we need to get to this point where I think Metacritic needs to do one of two things. Either just to die, or it needs to shut off user reviews. Because I don't think user reviews help anything.
Well, there was a thing where apparently they were going to. It just happened during the time of Black Panther. People were planning on spamming Black Panther with negative reviews unnecessarily,
And
because these
that
were
happened.
the
I know
moronic.
that happened with Captain Marvel. It happened with a lot of these things because apparently that's the thing you do now. No one does 8s on Metacritic. You do 1s or 10s. That's just the rule of thumb there, which is why I tell people don't trust it because no one uses that properly. Not to
No one
mention,
does.
the average score on Metacritic for critics is not even an average. It's literally giving weight to more things. IGN has more weight than some random website does. So it's still indicative of what the big mainstream critics do. So again, it's not even an average. So neither score is actually indicative of the real average. So
And
it's dumb. I don't understand review bombing, or I guess the flip side of giving it a 10 just because you agree with it. That's not what reviews are for. That's not what giving a game a score is for. Giving a game a score is for people who fucking play the goddamn game.
Absolutely.
and it's just and the reason that, like you said, the bigotry reasons to review bomb this game, it's sickening.
It's hilarious
In
too
all
because
honesty.
Abby isn't even trans, and that was the person they got mad about. She's not
Yeah.
even the trans person. Abby's just a really
Yeah.
fucking swole woman. That's all she is.
So
Mention that you,
I go to, at the gym. I make friends with a lot of women who are quite strong, quite thick, and quite muscular.
Yeah, you'd
Super
know if
nice
they're real
girls,
thick.
and- Pardon?
You'd know if they were real thick.
Yeah. And just because they're muscular doesn't mean they're trans. And I've seen women at the gym bigger than that girl, more muscular than that girl. They don't look trans at all.
But Vish, you don't understand. The sex scene with Abby in this game, it looks like she doesn't have boobs. To which I say, and your point?
yeah, if you're actually that jacked, it's quite possible that you build up your pecs, which would affect
Actually,
your
no.
boobs.
Actually, implants are a common thing in the fitness industry because that happens.
Yeah.
Because their pecs get so jacked, their boobs shrink, and they end
Yeah.
up getting implants to get them back. So this is a common thing in the industry, in the fitness and culture, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is it's just people didn't like what they saw. And instead of just doing what you're supposed to do as a customer, which is not buy the fucking game and then shut up, because again, as we always know, no PR is the worst kind of PR, but bad PR is still good PR.
It's any publicity is good publicity.
So by
It's plain and
constantly
simple.
talking about this game, you help the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Because there's going to be the other people who are going to be like, you know what? I want to support this community. I'm going to buy this fucking game.
So to all the edgelords out there who were spamming ma'am means, who were doing all this transphobic, bigoted shit, you failed. Because Last of Us still broke records. It still is a very successful game that is still loved by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And no amount of you opening your fucking useless mouths was ever going to change that.
I'm only not buying it right now for the price. I am probably going to buy it when Avengers comes out.
And you know what? You'll probably still like a lot of it and still end with, I just don't like the ending. That could still be what it is.
Story choice.
And you know what? Who knows? Maybe the context of the ending may actually work. Who knows?
You know, I mean, from what I've read, because again, I looked deep into it because I have no interest in this game. It basically looks like the leaks are exactly what they were. It's just there's a little more to it. And people are actually not too happy with how one character's handled in the early point of the game as well. So there are issues. But some people can look past it, some don't. So going back to review bombing, there is one thing that I think we need to see, and I hope that this gets implemented in some way on PS5. Because we know that there's going to be some changes going on with the store and other things that go with the UI. What I want Sony to do, and this, I can't imagine this being a difficult thing to do either way, is that when you complete a game, it should check off a flag that sends you a notification that asks you to review the game if you want. And that average should be taken from every single person that answers it and puts that as the average score, kind of like what Steam does.
Mm-hmm.
With their, like, very, like how a game sometimes will say very positive or mostly positive, whatever it does.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to give a game a 1 out of 10, you better at least have to fucking work for it.
Yeah.
Because anybody who can just go on an internet thing and make 50 accounts and just keep putting ones down, that doesn't help a game industry. I don't believe for a second the Metacritic should influence your decision.
Whoever makes 50 accounts just to review bomb a game, you really need to get laid.
It's a pathetic loser. That's what it is.
And they can even go one step further because this actually happened with Steam, the review bombing. A game would get, announced that it's coming to Steam, and then it would switch and it would coming out on the Epic Store instead. This happened with Metro Exodus, Metro 3. So because it had a Steam page, people were going on, and I guess, I don't know how they were, they had pre-ordered the game. So everybody who pre-ordered could technically review it, or I can't remember what the workaround was. Basically, what they did is they went on and they review bombed the hell out of the game. And it hadn't even released yet. Or it had released, but on Epic, not on Steam. So Steam was like, okay, wow, we've never run into this issue before. Nobody had review bombed a game that heavily where they got mad at a developer, so they went, gave ones.
Which is ridiculous because it has nothing to do with the game. That's not reviewing a game. Like,
no, exactly.
It's called going on Twitter and showing your annoyance. Like, air your grievances there. Like, a Steam review score doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly. So what Steam ended up doing is they had to build something into their algorithm or the UI or whatever, where if a game starts to get numerous negative reviews, it stops all reviews instantly. Like, it just stops.
It's
a slippery slope.
That's a little.
It depends on what the algorithm does. It depends on what the trigger is.
It stops it for that moment. Like, it's not like it stops it forever. It stops it for that hour.
There's also the flip side too.
Where it's getting flooded.
That Metacritic at the same time is also deleting user reviews on Last of Us, which I also believe is a problem because it's also showing that you are not allowing. Like, this is Metacritic. No offense to you guys, you created this problem.
Yeah.
So, you deleting reviews is just, you're basically saying that your site's bullshit. So if there's any reason for you not to use their site, this is it, because they don't even care about their own reviews that get put on the site.
Yeah.
So this comes to the problem is, like, the only reviews we can, like, who do we really trust for reviews? I know you're saying, I understand you're mentioning YouTube, but if I just want to, I honestly, most of the time, I just want to see the number. I just want to see 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 1 out of 10. I just want to see a number. And it's getting to a point.
In which case, then you just go to Metacritic, see what it is right now, and just say, okay, that's something to keep my eye on. And then you go to YouTube and look up a video of it, so you can see what you're walking into. So, I think anybody who uses... Oh, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Anybody who uses a number, and just the number, to decide on what game to get? It's 2020, guys. Fucking try a little harder. You don't like. Are you the same person that sees a Pepsi commercial and says, "Oh, I need to only buy Pepsi now"? Come on, guys, we're better than this.
So, but the only thing is like, I like what Amazon does, where they show the reviews, but show how many people voted a certain number. Because, for example, if you have 500 reviews, 100 of them voted 10, but then you have 75 who voted 1. It's like, it's quite decisive.
And even then,
And they say,
if I see 1-star reviews ever, I don't take any umbrage with them because it's usually just people mad about something.
Well, I like to, yeah. So Amazon and Steam actually kind of has something pretty much like that. What I do is I do like that as well, but I go in and I actually read what those people wrote. So I'll look at all the people who gave it 5 or 4 out of 5 or whatever, and I'll go read what the people who gave it 1 are. Like on Amazon, it's usually I received my product and it was literally broken in half, and I tried to return it and I couldn't.
Yeah,
or
like
something
more
like
often
that.
than not,
Like,
it's just like horror stories. It's not like actual indicative of the product. It's more
Yeah.
interesting to
And
look at a
if they,
2-star than it would be a
for
1 because a
reviews,
2-star says like they actually have something to like about it, but they're just disappointed.
no.
read the reviews that are in the middle, because they give the honest opinion, because they will actually say the pros and cons. Because when you're in the middle, you're split between the pros and the cons.
Yeah. I usually start at the top and I just read as many reviews as my mind can handle. Because like usually the reviews are much smaller because they're not like writing an actual article. They're just writing like a very quick couple of sentences. I do that with Amazon and I do that with Steam. Start at the top and I just scroll down, whether they're good, they're bad, and I just get everybody's opinion and I start to see the repeating stuff, and then I determine if that repeating stuff that's either good or bad, how that would be something I'd care about.
Yeah, it's legitimately at the point where this game specifically for me has told me that I cannot trust anything that uses review scores anymore on a base website. Because we already have enough of a shaky relationship with like your IGNs and GameSpots for being paid off, although I doubt that that's actually the case, but there's so many issues that I take with these websites, and then you have Metacritic, which is basically just a fucking shit show of a pit.
Yeah. And if you get a group of people on Reddit who are like, hey, let's all go on Metacritic and give this a fucking 1, they can get like 1,000 people to go and just drop it all at once. It's ridiculous.
So today's hashtag is Adam hates Metacritic.
But speaking of things we don't hate, so let's finish off, like you said, with something that we do like, which is the Avengers War Table that was earlier today.
Yeah.
I said when we first saw the trailer at E3 last year that I was nervous.
Yeah.
After seeing this, I'm not getting it day one, but I'm pretty much sure it's something I'm getting at some point.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
It might even be day one. Depends. If crossplay is a thing, I'm legit considering day one.
I was going to say that's how it would be for me. It would determine if it's crossplay.
If it's crossplay, that's a stream game for us, man.
Yeah, 100%.
So, what I'm wondering, what I think would be a cool idea. I know, Miss Marvel has been stated to be like the main focus of this game, and what I want them to do is, I get that if you want to make her the main focus, that's fine, but if you use the other Avengers, balance it out.
Why wouldn't they?
Pardon?
Why wouldn't they? You mean you have to, considering I don't think you can play multiple of the same character, they better make sure it's balanced, because if you end up being Hulk and Hulk's trash, it's not very fun for the guy who's stuck playing Hulk.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but I mean, like, there's some games where you can just choose your character the entire time, which is okay. But I like to play as different characters, but I think it will be balanced where each level or each world requires a different Avenger to be
You
used.
don't have a choice. There's literally the solo campaign makes you play specific characters.
Yeah, I think it's very even across all of them. I think what Crystal Dynamics was saying is that the story perspective is from Ms. Marvel. Like I think she's kind of the narrative, like the story narrative is coming from her perspective. But like you play one level as Thor, and then you play one level as Iron Man, and then you play one as Hulk, and then you're Black Widow, and then you're Ms. Marvel.
The only difference will be when we talk about the war zones and like the multiplayer stuff, where you'd have to be a select character. So
yeah,
you,
and
you
then
would have to balance out who plays
stuff,
what.
It's multiplayer stuff. It's 4 people, and either you play with friends or you pick what character you want to be, and it'll give you 3 AI characters. So that one is always like totally up to you. It's only the single player campaign, and that I think it actually is during some levels you may even switch halfway. It'll be like an Iron Man and Thor, and you'll play as Iron Man, and then it'll switch over to the Thor, like story wise. I think it's going to be very even across the board.
Because I mean, yeah, the intrigue that I had with this game had to do with the fact that I thought on paper that this game was Destiny but Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And when I saw the trailer at E3, I went, okay, I don't know if this is what I thought it was. And then now that we've seen this, I'm like, oh, it's Destiny with Marvel Ultimate Alliance together. Okay, we're good.
So it's what Adam wished for.
It's basically what I want. So yeah, I mean, realistically, like I just said, the crossplay thing is going to be the big determining factor because I don't think my laptop will probably not be able to handle this. So PC is not an option for me. So it would have to be crossplay for us to be able to play this together.
I'm pretty sure by then you will have your PS5 if it's released by then, or you could wait a month or two.
I don't think at this point, unless something changes, like in terms of release days, I don't think I get the PS5 till whenever Horizon 2 comes out, because it's probably around the time I would. Because I don't want to get a PS5, and because here's the other thing too, the price is also, there's so many fucking factors in this. If the price is ridiculously cheap for the digital version compared to the disc version, I'm inclined to almost get the digital, which means I'll have Cyberpunk come out almost the same time, and I only have the disc. So it's that weird, like, what do I do? So timing is going to be everything. I'm going to have a much more straight answer when we fucking have more information on all this shit. But as it is right now, I'm like, maybe, kind of, I don't know, maybe. Like, that's really where I'm at now.
I think I am probably going to go with the disc version of the PS5 because of the amount of game discs I have. It just makes more sense.
Well, if you keep your PS4, it's not like, because most of the games you'll get a free upgrade for, and I imagine that would include digital. So ideally, it would mean that you can keep it. It's just, again, I don't want to make that decision right away and then screw myself in the long run. So I think when it comes to the PS5, it will definitely take some time. But I mean, PS4 will be perfectly fine for Avengers. It'll just be a matter of, will we be able to play that together or not? Because I know for a fact PC I will not be able to.
Yeah, PS5's not out till like probably November, say, and that's just guessing. And this game's out in September.
Because if we find out that there's no crossplay for this game, fuck it, we'll all wait till PS5 to play this game.
Exactly, that was what I was going to say. If it turns out it's crossplay, perfect. I'm gonna pick it up probably whenever you guys do, even if it's September, and it'll be our new Thursday night streaming game, 100%.
I'm probably not gonna get it for a while.
Well, that's fine, because you'll be fine, because PS5 and PS4 will work. Well, you'll be fine. So we're not worried about that. It's just more like PC and console might not be a thing. That's the only thing we got to worry about.
Yeah.
And also, I wonder what the DLC will be for this game as well. That's another thing, because
it's hard to say because the game is not a
limitless list of additional characters that you can bring to this.
I don't think they're going to go that deep.
No, I don't think so either.
Because it is a story, I don't know if they'll go that deep. They may have, like, because here's the other thing too. They kind of pigeonhole themselves too by saying this isn't going to be a live service, so they can't give us expansions, or they can't like slowly roll stuff out like a season pass. So they'd have to give us like in big waves. Like they can't in 6 months be like, here's the thing where fucking Ant-Man and this character are all together. They can't do that, because if they do that right away, it'll tell us that they were holding back content. This has to be a 12-month minimum. There can't be any major content that isn't free for the first 12 months, or else that will piss people off.
I think this is also going to open the floodgates to have more Marvel games come out.
I mean, Spider-Man already did that. I don't see why that's not already a thing. It's just,
I know
Marvel's not going to be outsourcing everything real quick.
I don't think it'll be shared just because it's two separate companies, like
I don't
Insomniac
think
and Crystal
that'll be
Dynamics.
If Insomniac is able to make more games outside of Spider-Man, it would be shared. I don't think this will have anything to do with Avengers, though.
Yeah. And something to keep in mind is they said in today's stream, and they've said it before, all future characters and levels will be free for this game. They're
And
included.
if that's the case, this is going to be an amazing $60.
Yeah.
And I'm talking US. For us, it's going to be like 80, but
The only thing they mentioned
It-
was that when they were looking at the
Or tax.
costumes, they said a lot of the costumes can be unlocked in game. Some of them you can only unlock using currency.
and that's
Now
fine.
they did not say if currency meant like you earn in-game
As
currency
far
and
as
you
they
buy it.
said, no microtransactions, so that should mean you just have to grind it.
Yes, and I think that's what it is. But I mean, even if they did have microtransactions and it was just like buying extra costumes for a few dollars, fuck it.
If
If all
it's
the
fair-
characters and content is free,
If it's
who cares?
Valorant where you're spending $30+ for a fucking skin, no.
No. I'm talking like $4 or whatever the heck would be reasonable.
But
Maybe
like
$5, I
in
guess,
some
Canadian.
crazy thing like, oh, here's like, I don't know, like the film version of Iron Man's costume, $2. It'd be like, all right.
I think the only costume I wasn't too pleased with was Cap's, because it looks like chunky
Here's my
body
thing.
armor as opposed to like.
Did anybody
what
else notice
Chris
that
Evans
the
wears.
entire war table didn't even show him?
Well, because apparently the story is that he
is the traitor?
died at the beginning. Like that's what they showed in the trailer. Like
There's
during
no way that this entire game doesn't
no,
have Cap.
exactly.
So
They're
that's
gonna
the
bring
thing.
him back.
He comes
but they
back.
haven't
I
revealed
guarantee you,
it.
he comes back in the game. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, so it's that A-Day happens where everybody dies or whatever. Or no, sorry, the San Francisco goes to hell. And Cap was on that ship that goes down, and they make a statue of him, and everybody
He's just
thinks
frozen in
he's-
ice again somehow.
Yeah. So I think it's that they're not showing him because it would spoil story about how he comes back.
But he was
Because there's
also,
no way.
but he was
fuck.
also in the trailer, so we're also like, okay, but you're not just killing him off at the start of the game and then that's it. Come the fuck on.
Yeah. They showed him at the beginning. Imagine they actually did though.
That
Like,
would be
they
the
have him for a
biggest
couple
dick
minutes.
move. Oh my god.
Yeah, that would be brutal. Like actually.
He may be in stasis lock.
It could be that. Yeah.
So the one thing that I have to worry about, and this is coming from a guy who played Destiny, so take everything I say as being something we should worry about, because I know, because I dealt with this shit for like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
This game might be boring at the start. Just
Oh,
warning
that's,
just warning everybody, this game might be boring and lifeless for a little while. There is a distinct chance
That's
that
the
when
one
this game
thing
comes
I need
out,
reviews for, because if it's that situation where people like, again, Heavy Rain was that situation where it was extremely boring at the start, and
yeah,
then
but we're
it
talking
was
what,
like
2 hours versus months?
Yeah.
See, here's let me actually explain this all to you, because you're not going to understand what Destiny's life cycle is like unless you get it from me. Destiny had a lot of content when it launched. The problem is it was really hard to grind to get to that point, because level gating was really hard, and getting good loot was really hard in the beginning. Rarity percentages were really bad. There are a lot of things that Avengers could do wrong with this. They could make the grinding really insufferable, like having to do the same mission 25 times to grind for XP or grind for something, grind for currency. That's possible. A lot of missions could be really uninspiring. A lot of the loot in the early going could be fucking nothing. Could be nothing but a color, like it's just a change of color. Nothing special. So, everybody, like, all these kind of Destiny-like games, just be ready that the start might be a little rough. They might not have... They said it will be more like a full-fledged game when it comes out. Same with, like, an Outriders, for example. They also said the same thing. Because these games are very notorious for not coming out fully finished. So be aware that there is a chance that if you get this day one, that it will not be this game that you play for loads and loads of time. It may be a game that you play for 10 to 20 hours, realize there's not that much yet, and you gotta wait. That's possible. So,
but there's a campaign. This isn't really like there's a multiplayer aspect, but there is also the single player campaign
That's
mode,
Destiny,
or the campaign
though.
mode in general.
That's Destiny. Same thing.
Destiny has a campaign mode.
Yes. It's not, well, technically it's not single player, but it's all the same missions that you can do solo that you can do with friends. It's the same thing. So they can have a lot of stuff, but if you can get to it quick enough and that all you have left to do is get good loot, that may take a while. So the risk that we run with these games is that there may not be enough to do to keep you invested all the time. Now for us, since it might be our stream game down the line, might not matter because we don't put that much time into it. But if you're somebody expecting this to be your go-to game for like, let's say 6 months straight, these games may not do that because they don't always work out like that. They sometimes don't start off on the right foot. As a guy who went from Destiny to Destiny 2, Destiny 2 did the same thing again, where because they took all of Destiny and erased it, you couldn't continue anything, they didn't carry anything over, it was right back to square one. It's one single campaign, one single set of loot. So you got to be careful with these. Just because they say that it won't be a live service does not mean that it won't be a lot of stuff from the very beginning. It may be something that 6 months down the road is more fledged out. You don't know. That's the risk we run with these games. So that's just a warning. I'm not saying it's going to be like that, but more often than not, these are what these games end up being in the start. So,
well, I'll tell you, I will play and grind out as much as I need to unlock that Thor costume where he's wearing the blue t-shirt and jeans that just has the name tag, hello, my name is Donald Blake. That will be my go-to character and costume as much as possible because it
so
was
what
just
you're saying
so
is
perfect.
that's going to be your first cosplay costume once we go back to expos again.
I mean, okay,
Oh my
so I have to get very jacked, but I do have a t-shirt and
You're
jeans.
closer to that than all of us.
Dude,
You are closer to that
dude,
than the other
you
two of us.
can't.
Come on.
Why?
I got the Ragnarok costume.
I want just the t-shirt.
It's alternate versions. It's okay.
Yeah.
Alternate
I'll
universe.
be Thor working, normal job worth his name tag, and you can be Ragnarok.
But you can have two Thors, Vish. It's called a multiverse.
Yeah.
Fine.
I'm
Filipino
Filipino
Thor,
Thor.
Adam.
You can be Pro Thor.
No, I'm gonna be not Thor.
Stop all your healthy eating you're doing during quarantine. We need you fat.
Fuck, that's a
Wait,
real challenge
Adam,
for
if
me
you get a
now.
wig-
Is trying to like eat more so I can build muscle again. That's the challenge now that I hit my weight goal.
Adam, you can wear a wig. You can be Loki.
Fuck yeah, I'll be Tom Hiddleston.
You could absolutely pull that off.
But he would have to. Do you have contacts to do Loki?
What? No, I don't care. It's Loki. All I gotta do is be a tricky piece of shit.
So you're gonna be Loki with glasses?
Kneel before me.
They come off? Who are you?
Actually, it was,
Adam, thank
Oh, wait,
God you're
sorry,
here. There
sorry.
was this guy here on your stream.
If I flip him upside down,
Now I feel like you're going to play paintball.
Do you know where Adam is?
I don't know where I am
Hey,
because I
playing
can't see
paintball.
shit right now.
He's playing paintball.
So there's this guy. No, sorry. Okay, reset. So there was a convention, and Tom Hiddleston comes on in full out Loki costume and everything. Everyone's cheering, and he goes like doing that. Everyone shuts the fuck up right away.
Wouldn't
it's like,
you?
holy shit. Huh?
Why would you not listen to Tom Hiddleston?
He wasn't Tom Hiddleston. It was Loki.
Why wouldn't you listen to Tom Hiddleston, Loki?
It wasn't Tom Hiddleston. It was Loki.
No.
Holy shit, man.
It was Tom Hiddleston. No. I'm sorry to break the fourth wall, Vish. But it was Tom Hiddleston.
You don't shut the fuck up doing this for Tom Hiddleston. You do it for Loki. Loki's like, you're like, okay.
Well,
Sorry.
considering you're not Tom Hiddleston as Loki, I'm not going to shut the fuck up. So, fuck you, bitch.
Oh, suck it.
You're not my type. Fuck off.
Oh. Rejected.
So,
My you can see my summer and winter tan kicking in.
what the fuck does that have to do with anything that we just... God damn it. All right, derailing the show.
I have no idea.
So, going back
T-shirt
to
tan.
things that people care about.
T-shirt tans. And Avengers.
No, not you, Vish.
Oh, we care about him.
No, I fucking don't. Don't kid yourself. Honestly, like, again, because of all the other factors that we still have yet to see, like when the PS5's coming, whether there's crossplay, what the pricing is going to be for everything, there are a lot of unanswered questions, and I think obviously being another 2 full months before we even get to September, we have time. We can figure it out. But
Yep.
compared to where I was yesterday about Avengers, yeah, I'm a lot more interested.
I'm a lot more interested too.
I think this game has the opportunity to be good. Am I saying it's going to be? There is still a very, very good chance this could be a pile of shit.
The thing is, I would still want to pick up this game even if it was only the single player campaign.
Oh,
from what I saw
if
today,
it was single player, I'd be more confident, but because of the multiplayer stuff, that's where I get nervous. Because the Destiny part of me is like, they could really fuck this up.
the way I'm looking at it is the single player campaign would have been enough for me to pick it up, and the multiplayer part of it just adds so much
because
more to
of
it. Yeah.
like Spider-Man, for example, is a purely single player game, and it was arguably the second best game on the PS4.
Yeah, you're right. Horizon's number 1.
For me, second. For Adam, number 3 or number 2.
Imagine
I
Spider-Man
just
had multiplayer. Holy shit.
I will.
Yeah, can you imagine
play
that, like,
Horizon
fucking
before
having
I
Venom,
purchase
like,
a
slinging,
PS4.
like, you being Venom slinging around?
Miles Morales, Peter, Venom, and
Spider-Gwen?
Corgi or something random.
Spider-Gwen?
Oh, Spider-Gwen. That would totally be it. That's probably the third game, I bet. Calling it now.
I mean, I'm down.
I'd be down too.
That's,
As long as I
that
get more
actually
Black
would
Cat,
be
I'm happy.
A great option.
Yeah.
But any last thoughts? Because otherwise, I think we're good. I think we're done.
I want it.
And now for my final thoughts.
Okay, what are they?
I think this is gonna be I think it'll be a good game. I think it will probably have its own identity apart from Ultimate Alliance and, as you say, Destiny. I feel the real shining light is going to be more of the campaign mode as opposed to the multiplayer. I'm waiting to. Sorry.
I disagree. I think the multiplayer is going to be the focus, just because of the type of game it has to be. The hope is that because if I'm being completely honest, I don't think this will be a Spider-Man level quality campaign, like in terms of story. It's going to be more like the gameplay is what's going to sell you on this. I don't think the story is going to be like nearly as important now. Because, I mean, it's going to be ongoing. There's going to be other stuff that comes in. Like, it's going to be weird. Destiny, like, for example, story is fine. But generally speaking, you're more there because it's just amazingly crazy how much shit you have to go through.
Mm.
So, I as long as people don't go in the expectation with, like, this game being Spider-Man level storytelling or even, like, 50% Spider-Man level storytelling, it may not even get to that point, honestly, because there's a lot of filler you're going to have to do. That's going to be really hard to pull off.
I think it's actually going to be both. I'm actually confident that both will be kind of equal in the sense that the single player campaign and the multiplayer will actually feel very similar. Only the single player ones, they're designed playing only one character and there'll be more cutscenes and stuff. Whereas the multiplayer levels will feel almost the exact same, but they're designed to have more enemies and play with 3 other people.
Oh, if the story ends up being as good as Spider-Man, I'll eat crow. Fuck it.
The story does look
here's
pretty
the thing. What do you guys think about this game? Are you going to be able to play as just the Avengers, or are you going to be able to make your own character?
You are not going to be able to make your own character.
Yeah,
I think they've made it pretty prevalent at this point that won't be what happens. The only real question is, what do they start bringing in? What do they start bringing? You're not dibsing 2 characters. I will play wherever the fuck I want. It'll be like Left 4 Dead. I'll intentionally pick what you want the most to get it away from you. I have hosting duties. I can pick first.
No, you can't. I want to be the Wasp.
Like,
well, Ant-Man was shown.
It's so weird where they could go. Because, I mean... Fuck it, I want to be Groot.
I wonder if they have...
Well, that's the thing. If this opens the floodgates, like, there could be a Guardians game coming.
I don't know if you would go I don't know if you would go as far as putting all of them in there. I think you'd have to be pretty selective because, I mean...
No,
we don't know how deep this goes.
Game.
Oh, a separate game? Not by Crystal Dynamics, though. They're going to be working on this thing for a while.
Yeah, it depends on also who they get the rights to.
And by
'cause
the way,
thing
there
is-
already is a Guardians of the Galaxy game. It's from Telltale Games.
and it was fantastic. It
No,
was
but
excellent.
I understand, but I mean like an actual like action game itself.
Not at this rate. I don't like unless Marvel contracts to like 10 studios. Guardians is nowhere near that point.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, that's the thing because Insomniac has now got the rights for Spider-Man, and Crystal Dynamics has the right for the Avengers. But which Avengers did they get the rights for? Because you have to do by character. So if they get,
But it looks like
Ant-Man,
they got
whichever-
the OG Avengers.
But what
Yeah,
does
they
it
got
mean
the
though?
OGs.
Does it mean that nobody can make a Captain America game now, or does it just mean like Avengers games like they own Avengers, like they can do
Yeah.
everything? That's the
I think
weird
it
part.
depends on what's in the
Yeah,
contract.
because
like
I think a solo Captain America game would actually be really good.
Dude, it'd be like Call of Duty with throwing shields. Fuck yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in.
but it's possible that
No,
Crystal Dynamics.
I'm thinking more Metal Gear Solid.
Well, no, I'm
because Cap
talking
is
like
pretty
like
scumbag.
World War II Call of Duty, like crazy shit. I'm looking that heavy. Fuck yeah, I'm down.
I think it's possible that Crystal Dynamics, when they sign these characters, like I think Marvel does it on a per character basis. So it
I
could
really
be
hope
just
that's
an
not
Avengers
the case.
name.
I don't want it to mean that for like let's say this game cycle is like 3 to 4 years. I really hope that doesn't mean we can't have any other instance of these guys. Although that seems unlikely anyway because Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 already existed. So
True.
Yeah.
Also true. Yeah.
my hope
they
is
also had Spider-Man.
that they just get the event, like they can do the compilation, they can do the mass stuff.
Yeah.
But like single stuff, maybe somebody else can take that. I hope that that's what it
Maybe.
means.
Yeah. That's a good point with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance because like Spider-Man and characters are in that. So obviously Insomniac doesn't have the full rights to just
Not to
Spider-Man.
mention that you see
but-
Marvel games on mobile all the time that do that shit too. So
Yeah. True.
I'm sure if Marvel wanted, they could just be like, all right, well, you guys get control of this and this with this Avengers license. But if somebody wants to say, like, just make, like, let's say they want to make a Metal Gear Solid kind of game, but it's Black Widow.
That'd be fun.
Oh, would be so good.
But
That'd be
otherwise,
so good.
any last thoughts before we set this sucker out of here?
No, that's it for me.
I'm just waiting for it to come out, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's coming out 3 days before my birthday. So might be
Don't
my
jinx it.
birthday gift to myself.
Don't jinx it.
To Chris.
I've jinxed myself twice on Cyberpunk. Don't jinx yourself.
Yeah. but
If
it moves,
Cyberpunk gets
actually-
delayed again, I think Adam will have a psychotic meltdown.
See,
It's only a couple months at a time.
See,
It's only a couple
I think
times.
this has to be the time they don't because I don't actually think that they're delaying it. I think they're just keeping it to the consoles. I think inadvertently they're just putting it there so that the free upgrade's possible.
But I don't think they have I don't think the PS5 version is going to be ready. at
No,
launch.
what's going to happen is the free upgrade will be, but the actual PS5 version of the game will not. So like the upgrade will be to get the PS4 version on your PS5.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Hmm.
Not the PS5 version. Oh, okay.
I think that's what we'll see, but either way. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the VCR podcast. So thank you to all nobody that watched the stream as per usual. We're still working on that stuff. I mean, does it count that I watched it on my tablet? Does that count?
Yes.
I'm the one viewer in the chat right now. But thank
Fuck you, Adam. No, fuck you, Adam.
Yeah, I wish I could do. Well, no, I don't have two separate accounts on here, so I would just be texting to myself. So, yeah, that's gonna do it. So
You may wanna
obviously,
get
if
checked for
you're
schizophrenia.
watching this on the VOD, you have all the information for our social media here. If you're listening to the audio version, I strongly recommend that if you want to see this in video version, that you can check it out on YouTube at CS Radical, on my Twitch channel as well at CS Radical. We are streaming this now 8 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. Tomorrow, albeit if Vish's Epic store holds up, we will be playing GTA 4 or GTA 5, and we'll all be streaming that tomorrow at 8
I'm
p.m.
all
Eastern
set.
as well. And hopefully everything goes well because last week that was what was supposed to happen, and then Vish's Epic program decided to just not want to do that, so that didn't happen.
Nope. I just want to point out, dude, this was completely out of my control and not my fault.
Well,
Nothing.
we still say it's your fault because that's just how it works. That's just how it is.
Okay.
So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for checking us out here. On behalf of the other two guys, we'll see you next week, unless we all die from COVID.
Night,
Please don't
everyone.
have that happen.
Cheers.